Welcome back to the Barony of Olives, everyone. I am here with the StreamPunks. My name is Eric Campbell. I'm your GM as per usual. These are the StreamPunks as per usual. We're here to play Changes in the Dreaming as per usual. And also, some announcements to just go ahead and kick things off so we can just jump right into stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start with a big announcement just to let everybody know. I know we're just kind of rushing into this, but it's really important that you know about our fundraiser, which is happening this coming Saturday on the 14th. And I can tell you it's going to be pretty good. If you are subbed up on our Patreon or our coffee, you've already gotten a little bit of a glimpse of what we're doing. At 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when all the festivities start. And they wrap up around 4:30-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as you might have guessed. It would have been weird if we just decided to jump to another time zone, but we're as tempting as it was to mess with you all, we're not going to do that.
We would have gotten a lot of bunks for that.
I will say this, and I haven't told you this, Eric.
Will you? Yes, please.
I would tell you the thing. I will. Yes. I don't know how. What I know, we're doing like different things where we unlock things. Wherever you want to put me, if you want to throw in, if we unlock it, I will do another Alice in Wonderland game. I will run another Alice in Wonderland adventure. As a reward.
Scribble that in.
Fundraiser.
Producer Sam, scribble that in.
Yep, I will do it.
Done.
Whole new adventure.
You heard it.
Lord knows
it is
how
a
many
Fae
other
pact.
That'll be awesome.
Made on VOD and canon. But seriously, Ox Crew, our funds have doctor's appointments. They have to go to preschool. We are trying to raise these funds right, and only you can help us.
Indeed. And starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, it's going to kick off with a Force and Destiny game. I'm running Star Wars again. It'll be nice to get back into that because I love it so much. And with Obi-Wan about to come out, it's time to run a Force and Destiny game. So that starts off at 9 a.m. Yeah, I was really proud of him. It's just a shame they had to slaughter the entire Jedi Council and destroy the Republic before he was like, maybe it's time. Like, dude, come on. Anyway. At 11 a.m., we have GM-less game with Aki. That's going to be a ton of fun. We have a crafting corner with Gina that's going to be at 1 p.m. So that is going to be crafty. I'm just not as good at this as you are, Sam. I'm sorry. I never.
We have different skills. You built whole worlds and
Thanks. Thank
you. And Professor Scooter Eyes, and I do terrible things to the English language.
You do. It's true. You mutilate it, but at 2 p.m. I have Eliza. Is that how you say it? No, I just wanted to see the rage in Eliza's face.
Because every time you do it,
that hurt me.
Don't ever do it. So Eliza is going to be running a game. Eliza. Do you hear this internet everywhere?
Can I
just say,
go ahead. Anthony Rapp, I was in his game today for Jasper's game week. Yes. And he said my name right.
Oh my God.
He said it right. Like I'm gonna message him with him, but he said it right.
I'm gonna message him and let him know he just gained a momentum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can bank that.
Tell him it's wrong.
No, be like, listen, man, you can bank a momentum for whenever the day comes where we play Star Trek. You can bank that. Not for playing one of the coolest characters in Star Trek ever, but because you said Eliza's name correct.
That's
okay.
That's worth it.
Yeah, I think so. So that's at 2 p.m. Eliza is running Coyote and Crow with a really rad bunch of people. And then we're doing the wrap up, which is just after Coyote and Crow, which we might have a special guest. We don't know. We probably have a special guest. So anyway, everybody who is taking the time to post on YouTube and everywhere else where to skip ahead in order to start the game, I salute all of you for doing the community a favor. For the rest of you who are actually interested in what StreamPunks are up to and wanting to support us, show up. We'd really appreciate it. That's my big announcement. Does anybody else have any announcements they would like to jump into tonight?
Well, speaking of
Sorry,
Eliza,
I had to get rid of Adriana. She was really just irking me. It's the bow. It's too cute. I was like, no.
We get it. You're jealous.
It's true. I don't ever look that good in a bow. It's just really upsetting. Anyway,
you do, Eric. You just have to believe. I was saying, speaking of the amazing Eliza, there is a musical that she and I are currently in right now called Teaching Your Robot How to Love. We are in rehearsals for it. It was written by Laser from the Double Clicks. If any of you are big fans of the Double Clicks, you should be. If you don't, look them up because they're amazing. Xander is in it. I mean, it's an incredible cast, first off, and it's going to be at the Hollywood Fringe Fest in June. So look up dates. I don't even know. There's social media for it. There's Eliza might know.
Yeah. Find
things.
us on, there's an Instagram, I think it's Tartle Musical, Teaching a Robot to Love, Teaching a Robot to Love,
How to love.
TARTL. No, there's no how in the
There's no how?
Yeah, in the title, there's no how.
There is no how.
There is no how.
The robot comes with their own know-how.
There's only Zool.
We have
But
to
no, it's
teach the
really
robot
fun.
to know how.
It's a wonderful musical. Elisa's wonderful in it as well. And I get to be mean
Bonnie's
to
wonderful in it.
Elisa.
Bonnie's my bully.
Yay.
I'm
in
the
this
mean
musical.
one in it. It's so sad.
Just call her Eliza. The
Oh
whole
my
time.
God, stop it!
It's Eliza with a Z. Eliza with a Z.
No.
Oh no. Oh no.
What have you
Adriana
done?
just sent us a video clip of the blue screen of death and her facial reaction.
Oh,
Oh
no.
my God.
I feel like
This
I
is-
think she has the
This is
worst
wonderful.
luck. Oh my
This is
God.
amazing content, though. She literally just sent us a TikTok video of the blue screen and her freaking out.
Oh my
It's
God.
priceless. Look in the
That
Facebook chat.
happened
It's
to mine.
priceless.
This happened to mine right before I got on.
What is going on?
the Gremlins?
What
Is
And then
Mercury
there
in
were
Mercury?
three?
And then there were 3. Look, I made a joke at the top of the game that I was going to
Whoa!
kill somebody. But
Did
I
we
was
just lose
joking.
Gina too?
Where'd I go?
You did. You became the
Gina,
darkness.
Shadow.
You
You
became
never
a
go
shadow.
full Sluagh.
What? What? Hang
You
on.
went
Let me
full
have a
Sluagh.
conversation with my shadow.
Okay.
I feel like I should just sign off just to.
Yeah.
Join in with the
Let's go.
cool
Does
people.
anybody else have any other announcements that they would like to share with us?
Sorry, I'm
Any
still
at
in
all?
shock about all the blue screens and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we doing?
Elisa's like, wait, I'm sorry. Are we playing again? Where are we right now?
I will say this for those of you
What's
who
happening?
can't be at the Hollywood Fringe Festival to see the musical and you still want to know more about it. The
Mhm.
soundtrack is up. And Elisa's on the soundtrack, myself, Xander, Amy Dallin.
Hey.
It's amazing.
Zach Reno. If
Zach-
you're a
oh, yeah.
musical comedy nerd, you know who that is.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's an incredible cast, and so the entire soundtrack is up on, I believe, everywhere. So find
Okay.
it.
Yeah, and you can also follow the Tartle Musical on Instagram. Tickets are on sale if you're in LA. If you're not in LA, there is going to be some type of streaming.
Oh yeah,
thing.
they're streaming each one, I think.
Yeah, each one. I'm not.
I know they're filming each one.
Something, right? Yeah, there's going to be some way for people to see it who are
We
not.
should have
in LA.
really thought this through before announcing it, but that was my fault.
Well,
No, this
we
is
have
perfect.
several
No
more
notes.
weeks or a few more weeks to figure it out.
True that.
Welcome back. In the meantime, I think Sam had an announcement.
Yes, I do. Aliza was playing in one today. I will be playing in a game for Jasper's Game Week on Thursday. Eric, I guessed.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to
Thank
go
you for
around
reminding me.
real quick and
Yes.
say what day we are doing it, and that
Thank you.
should tune in to like all of them. One, they're just like freaking amazing. Admittedly, we can't all we cannot all be leadoff hitters of tremendous power like Aliza, but we also try to do good things, and there are also lots of good people, and it's for a really good cause. So tune in. I'm going up on Thursday. Eric, when are you doing the thing?
I'm going up on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am in a game with Gina, among other people. There's some amazing people. I think this will be the first time I played in a game with Trish. I think Trish is in our game session as well, so that'll be pretty awesome. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. It's been way too long since, and I'm just dying to tell everybody what I'm playing because it is the most chaotic thing I've ever.
Likewise, I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Oh, I just can't wait to tell anybody about it. But Mark has not told me. Mark Meir is running our game, and Eliza knows what I'm playing, and we have not been given the green light to share just yet what we're playing. But I can't
Oh,
wait.
is that what I think you're talking about?
Maybe I don't know. I'll have to
Okay.
see. Yeah, I'll have to see. But yes, Jasper's Game Day started today, and it is going throughout the week, and you're going to see StreamPunks all over that thing because it's a cause we very much believe in, and they were kind enough to ask us to come play. So please tune in and help a wonderful cause. I think that's everything, right? No, sorry.
I mean, other than that, like I was having an announcement, and
Right, yes,
we're
right.
sharing that now. But like, if you're finished with it, I'd like the announcement back, please.
Yes, you may have the conch. It's yours.
Yeah, no, that's all I've got. We're gonna play games now. You get to play with Gina in Jasper's Game Week. I get to play with Gina right now. So I'm excited. Let's go.
All right, let's do this.
Oh wait,
Oh,
I
wait.
know I'm breaking tradition. I forgot. We're doing metagame tomorrow.
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
that is tomorrow.
We are. Yo, that's
It's
really
tomorrow.
important.
Announcements are
Sorry.
very long tonight. We apologize. There's just a lot of
Sorry.
stuff happening, y'all.
We're kind of mess. You know what it is? We're planning a fundraiser too. So we're
What's the metagame game?
metagame is me and Sam just chilling and talking about TTRPGs.
Oh,
We
that
might
sounds
dip
awesome.
into a system and learn it.
I'm gonna tune in.
Honestly, Coyote and Crow would be really good for us to because we're going to be playing it on Saturday. So we
Yeah,
might
not a bad
actually
idea.
talk
We
through
might
the
do a
mechanics
little
and
bit of
things.
a preview.
Yeah.
Or we might do something completely different. Such
Or
is the
that.
chaos that our
Mhm.
metagame audience may enjoy. Coming to you monthly, second Tuesdays for our Discord subscribers, our coffee subscribers on Discord, companion tier, and up.
Anyone can sign up and see also the backlog of all of our Discord exclusive content.
Anything could happen with Eliza.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
I
Can
love
you just
you.
start
Oh my
this
God.
now,
I'm
or it's just gonna
Bonnie,
end?
Bonnie, you're gonna get me in trouble if you do that. I'm gonna be the one that pays the price if you do that.
I love you, Eliza.
All right.
You're my bully in real life now.
No, oh no. I should have never said anything. Mute my mic. Someone mute me.
This would never happen if we were playing in studio. I would never have the courage.
We are chaotic today.
Yeah.
We're
All
okay.
right. With that, let's go ahead and begin tonight's story of the Barony of Olives. Welcome back. When we last left off, the Motley was in Skeeta's nice little high-rise apartment that overlooks much of Point Cassida. And you had all enjoyed a night of reprieve after what was somewhat of a stressful situation trying to find one of your missing Motley mates. In the process of finding Gira, whom will be joining us shortly, you also uncovered something of a bit of a mystery, thanks to Skeeta and Gira, and well, Aisling also with the bringing out the changeling magic as you did. You all uncovered a strange situation where it would appear that Gira was assaulted after being chased into the woods, where she engaged into some kind of fight and then was left without memory in the middle of the woods, which were on fire. But you managed to put all of that out. You managed to put the fire out. You managed to rescue Geta. You managed to make your way back to a place where you could all just settle in and rest. It was not the party you were looking for, though you did get to peek in through the window to see a little bit of what was going on. And you did see what looked like what most of you would consider a bland party, but not everybody was super excited to have to leave it, as our dear Holly was about to attend their first LAN party. Get it? as it were, you all headed back to Skeeta's place and managed to just chill for the night, and got some interesting news as the real world kind of ticked in a little bit. And Skeeta, your agency contacted you and informed you that there was somebody who had submitted to the agency that was trying to get into an audition, and they had been selected by your personal assistant and is being put in front of you. Abby Fields left a voicemail with you, letting you know that there's a gentleman named Michael Yee, who is an Asian American who wants to be a country music star, and has been pushing and pushing and pushing, and is having difficulty getting attention or breaking into the country scene. And so after seeing his YouTube video, Abby put that in front of you, and the entire Motley watched this YouTube video of this incredibly talented musician singing an old George Strait song, which immediately caused at least one of you who just blinked back into existence to form a crush.
Are we talking about Michael Yee?
You were talking about Michael Yee. Yes. Yep. We are going to start today's story off with sunrise the next day over the Barony of Olives. With the curtains pulled open, you're all getting a very beautiful look of a golden path and the sun shining down onto the Pacific Ocean. You're getting a very, it's a partly cloudy sky this morning. Nice and cool breeze blowing in off the Pacific. Someone left the sliding door open, so it's a little chilly in the apartment. Not that Holly can tell, because Holly, you spent the entire night sleeping at the bottom of a jacuzzi.
I didn't do it.
I was
Holly,
in the pool, I think, for what it's
was
worth.
it the pool?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So, yes, that's right, because Skeeta actually has a pool on the balcony, which is, yes, before anybody asks, is that a thing in LA? Yes, that is a thing that happens in some pretty rich places in Los Angeles and around Los Angeles.
It's a house, like by the beach, not an apartment. Just
Is it an apartment? Okay, cool.
yeah, it's a house.
So the house itself, the pool out front, as you surface that morning, Holly, the water is blessedly frigid the way it normally is in the early morning hours. However, as you emerge, as you get to the top of the surface and emerge into the air, you immediately feel this. I don't imagine Holly feels this very often, but your eyes burn. They're itchy. And there's a taste in the very, very back of your sinuses that's kind of breathing as you just take a deep breath. It's just kind of this, your gills just kind of feel like they've been, you can just feel this odd sort of acidic taste. Piled under your bed like a nightmare creature, folded into many parts, the size of a suitcase. I believe, Aisling, if I remember correctly, you just kind of collapsed into a pile and pushed yourself under the bed. Is that correct?
No. I was.
What did you do?
I was under the cabinet in the guest bathroom.
Okay, that's right.
Inside, I should say, not under. Inside the cabinet.
Morning is coming, and one by one, you're all waking up.
How early is it?
Let's find out. I'm going to roll a D10. How late did y'all sleep in? Okay, it's 11 a.m. Y'all slept in.
Wow. That sounds still very early.
Yeah, what day of the week is it?
Yeah, let's find out. I'm going to say... it is Saturday.
Okay.
That would make sense because there was a party last night at the school.
Mm-hmm.
And your meeting's at 3 p.m.
Is that what I have written down?
I'm gonna say that Skeeta is up and is in the kitchen with several bubbling things. Definitely coffee, definitely a couple of teapots, and some other strange concoctions of liquids. And it almost looks like just shy of, well, actually, it's more leaning mixology than mad scientist lab, but it's kind of in between the two.
Okay. So already Skeeta's up and in the kitchen and is at work doing something.
Ruby is still in the hammock with Pipsqueak constantly trying to wake her up. Because Pipsqueak, of course, is seeing that everyone else is starting to awaken.
Okay.
And I'm reaching for my bedside table for my scissors as Pipsqueak pulls my hair to cut the chunk out, but there's no bedside table. Which makes me realize
Pipsqueak has that knot in your hair in their mouth, and it's just working it right now, just kind of just like making the good, and is at some point presses his back paws against the side of your head and is kind of like tugging on it, like trying, like really yanking on your hair to try to get that knot out.
Ow.
You all can see like this large fox ear that's coming off of the side of Ruby's head being pressed down by the paw of this plump baby purple tiger that's just like tugging on this strand of hair, desperately trying to help the puka. It's a fierce battle. You can see the determination.
Not helping. You're making it worse.
This soft, like, purring sounds coming from Pipsqueak seem to suggest that they think maybe you're encouraging them. But they seem very pleased. Like the more frantic you get, the more Pipsqueak is just trying harder and harder and harder.
Oh. Okay.
There's a chimerical otter starting to like try to climb the rain gutter to get up to help. We don't know if Kit intends to help Ruby or help Pipsqueak. We don't know where the alliance has been drawn.
When I awake, my hair is just gonna look like this, like
okay,
with Pipsqueak and oh man, yep, it's fine. I'm very naughty.
All right, Gator, you as well. You also wake up. Everyone is starting to just like come to life, as it were, at this point.
Yara immediately goes for the tea.
Okay. You find Skeeta in the kitchen, who is currently in the process of making. Yeah, Skeeta is in the process of doing some kind of mad scientist thing with vials and drinks and whatnot.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. What is all this?
Oh, this is my Saturday morning ritual. I like to just like get all the juices and drinks that I can find. And then Saturday mornings, I just like try different combinations. Ooh. So there's like what? There's pineapple, mango, blueberry. And here is some cherimoya and apple. Basically any combination you want. Here's some peach and cream soda. It's weird, but it's really good. It's like peaches and cream and soda. So good.
Oh, well, sure. I'll try anything.
Okay,
anything new. Thanks for having us over, by the way.
It's so nice to have this house filled with people. It's usually pretty quiet around here. Boring.
Well, you've found yourself some new friends.
I think at this point there is a crash. It is Kit's fault. Just trying to get up on the rain gutter. There's like a nice, it's not a bedside table with scissors, but like there's probably something near the hammock where you can like put your paperback novel. That is the thing that Kit has just sent over onto its side. I like to hope it's okay. I don't know.
Okay. Did it sound like anything broke? Or just top?
What are your tables made out of?
Just my dignity. You hear from the other side of the room. But as I'm actually putting together a piece of pottery that broke. But
get down from there.
No one sees that.
It's doing nothing. The sad, like through the door, like I'm so sorry. I'm trying, but I'm from Holly at Skeeta.
I think while all of the chaos is happening, you just see a very shadowed figure with the most teenage in a chaotic family energy silently like float by the kitchen counter, grab a cup, float into the kitchen, open another cabinet up top, and just disappear into the top of the cabinet, and it's shut
Oh,
behind
God.
her.
That's so creepy.
And that's it. No hellos, no nothing. She is recharging.
That is so creepy. I can only imagine. Just like I could
But
see
it's
like
only
a camera
visions
shot.
from behind other people. Like the camera is
Right.
never on her. She just floats behind everyone else's POV camera until she's gone into a
Just see a
cabinet.
splaying of limbs and just disappearing like they're being eaten by the cabinet, and then she's gone.
Oh, that was Aisling. Okay.
Mhm.
I need a little more tea.
Honestly, yeah. With all of your encounters with nightmares recently, sometimes
she was
you
just
when
like,
when Ashling's moving, sometimes you've got to remind yourself, like, no, that's one of ours. That's one of ours.
Yep. Holly, do you need help?
No, Kit's gonna come back. Right up. Kit.
Have you ever seen those like videos of a cat that's hanging onto the side of a chair and it's dangling by its last there's no way it can pull itself up, but it doesn't know what to do, so it just hangs there until the inevitable takes place. Imagine that, but sea otter hanging from gutter and just kind of swinging, and a little bit of a squeaking noise as it there's nowhere to go and the inevitable is about to happen, but doesn't move, just kind of squeaking back and forth in the blanket.
Trust me.
You know what? I'm gonna roll.
Oh no. Roll for otter.
When you said I catch you, what went through that chimerical otter's mind immediately was lap, and just yay, releases and plummets right off of the side and just heavily thuds right into your lap on its back and doesn't move. Just I mean, it's a sea otter. Not a river otter. It is a sea otter. This thing takes up your entire, this is like a 50-pound animal that just landed like right into your lap and just kind of lays
over
there.
the wheels, over the rims, and just the little hands are back. The legs are splayed out, ready for chest scritches, and
Yep.
with that very flat thud.
Yep. Y'all from inside can hear what sounds like the sounds of a splat from a thick-furred sea otter landing onto the wet scales of a merfolk who is reaching out to catch them.
I think that went well.
Yep. The cabinet opens and just says,
Cherry cola and orange juice with a splash of grenadine and a little bit of pepper is an excellent concoction.
and then closes it again.
Good
I could just see-
palate.
If we could do it, I would have random interstitials of just Gina doing that, like a cutscene from Pee-wee's Playhouse, just randomly peeking out and saying that, and just like as it closes, just like the more you know kind of thing. So at this point, actually, I think it was you, Skeeta. Eliza, if I'm correct, you had Skeeta. I think it was you, Eliza, that had Skeeta call Sir Galia. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was that done? Okay. So at this point, your cell phone from across the room begins to start buzzing.
Oh, I shuffle over to it in my fluffy slippers and answer it. Hello?
Skeeta, is your Motley with you?
Yes. We're all here.
The Baron is requesting your presence at court immediately.
Oh, okay. Immediately?
You need to get to the freehold as soon as possible.
Okay.
Do you need me to come get you?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
I'm
get
on my
everyone
way.
ready. Okay.
Are you at your place?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be there in about... Maps has me in about 20 minutes.
Okay, I'll tell everyone. Skeeta chuckles a little, thinking about wrangling this crew. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
You hang up.
In my most announcery voice to the whole house, I will stand at a point that's like where all the sound, I know the sound will echo, and I'll say, friends and country people, land and sea, we are requested to be at the Barony of Olive's Freehold in 20 minutes. Hurry up and get dressed. And then I flutter up the stairs to my bedroom to get dressed myself.
Oh, okay.
Ruby goes into the kitchen because she couldn't find scissors and gets a kitchen knife and starts hacking the knot away.
Do I before I leave?
Do you require assistance?
Yeah.
Too late now. It's gone. I got it out. I was just
there are scissors. There are very high quality conditioners in this house. Like
I am a self-reliant puka. I just needed a sharp metal object to get this knot out.
I just love that, like, everyone here who cares about their hair immediately had like an emergency reaction to Bonnie's character taking and just chopping off a knot.
Fun fact. I used to have one of those curlers that would suck in your hair. You know, like it was like I still have it. It sucks it in, like heats it and goes, and then it beeps and undoes it. And sometimes it can get stuck. And it got stuck in there once and it was starting to smoke. And I was like, Xander, I need scissors. And he started laughing. So he started taping it. I'm like, no, I need scissors. And I was running around looking for scissors and my hair was smoking. So I got a kitchen knife and cut it away. So I'm using my own personal life story within this. My hair has already been hacked by many a kitchen knife.
Family, if anybody out there wants to turn that into a webcomic, I would be okay with that. I would absolutely be okay.
You just followed me around the apartment, taping it. I was like, this is not helping.
Xander's a good boy.
Yeah,
he did us all
content was
day.
Of utmost importance.
Yeah.
Wait, so there's documentation.
I don't even know what he ever did with this video. I've never seen it.
Release it.
Blackmail.
Release it.
Is there a donation to it? No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is our
So
tier
for our first unlock on the Sunraiser this Saturday. All right. So
Anyway,
you all
that's
have
what
about
Ruby
20
did.
minutes. Okay, so Ruby goes into the kitchen, finds a kitchen knife, and when the knife comes out, Pipsqueak does their ready best to try to swat the knife away and kind of growl. You kind of get the impression that Pipsqueak has claimed ownership of the knot.
I'm gonna give it to him.
The toy.
I'm giving him
no
the
give.
knot.
No give. Only chew.
I'm gonna give him the knot, and he can chew it there.
He is resisting. You're constantly whapped by the paws. You're like cut, saw,
Pip,
and then
Pipsqueak
cracks loose. Pipsqueak goes tumbling to the floor with a knot of your hair, and immediately spits it out and doesn't want it anymore. Just
of course.
And then just kind of sits down and starts cleaning himself.
And while the camera's on the Pipsqueak cleaning himself, you just see a dark puddle ooze behind him as Ashley goes back to the bed to the bathroom to get ready.
Ashley, as you're passing by to get to the bedroom, you actually pass by the sliding doors.
I take the
that
lump
lead
of
out
hair
to the
with
pool.
me.
Okay, you've got it in your hands as you're like moving stealthily past the window. You can see out onto so right now as you're passing the window, you can see just beyond the pool and the metal, like the shoulder high metal fence that wraps around the pool. The pool looks out over the ocean. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Eliza, but I think you told me that Skeeta had a beachside house. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the beach? Okay.
Yeah.
So
on?
It's
like
beachside.
Above. Yeah. Well, like I'm thinking like Malibu has like rocky, like that on top of.
Oh, so let's keep developing this. So do you think it's built
Has a view.
Do you see her house built like, because in Malibu, as most of you who are watching at home may not know this, but a lot of the houses, including some of the mansions in Malibu, are literally built off the side of the rock face, and they are just stilts. Yeah, they're literally just built off the side. In fact, I've been in one, and you have to take an elevator to get from floor to floor to floor. And so there are some like that. Do you have a house, like a 1-story house out there that's kind of built that way off of stilts, and then it just goes out onto the sand and the beach?
Yeah, so I was thinking the top floor is on top of the rockiness, and that's where the street is, and then yes, the lower floors go down.
Okay,
I've seen some built in like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I know exactly
this also reminds me that last time you correctly told me I didn't have enough resources for this house. So I've been trying to figure out how to rebalance my character, because this was my intention from the beginning. I just did not buy enough resources to have this type of house. But I'd love to just, if I can, still tinker with my character sheet to make this
so
reality.
here's my thoughts
Yeah,
on
but you
this.
can't spend XP on resources or backgrounds.
It's true.
Yeah.
But here's my thoughts on this, because in the late 80s, Resources 3 would have gotten you this house.
Right.
So it's entirely feasible to say, because resources really helps you. It does determine your lifestyle, but there's no reason in the world why we couldn't say this past somebody sold this to somebody else, and because of your connections in the entertainment industry, you were able to get a deal. And you were able to buy the house. You know what I mean? I don't have any problems. I don't have any problems with you having Resources 3 and you have a Malibu, or rather, I should say, a Point Cass at a beachside house.
It could also be like, actually, you did say last time, like, oh, maybe you're adding stuff and it's like I'm still working on it. So yeah, maybe I got a deal on it because it needed some work on it.
Yeah.
So I can slowly like doing work on it.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me.
Cool.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool. All right, so
that's perfect though. That means I can visit you whenever.
Yeah, and so yes, to answer your question, that bottom floor is what would be like. You could go down maybe some stairs or something that are in the like the rock cliff, or some way you can get up and down from the beach.
I mean,
and we
I
could
can
say,
I can just go see you whenever.
It's literally the surf. Even at the surf at high tide is about 50 yards from the house. So pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Speaking of which, as you were passing by those sliding doors, Aisling, you gaze out, just kind of glancing out to the ocean for a second, and you see some pretty good waves out there today. Some pretty big waves crashing into the beach.
I wordlessly go outside and start to go down to the beach.
You just beeline, basically turn and just beeline out the door.
Yeah, it's more like a ghost in an old haunted romance novella. Like it's like floaty, walk by, float this way, float out the door. The door stays open and the curtains blow in the wind.
Okay. As previously described, that door was mostly left open all night. You just kind of slide between that 1.5-foot gap, just squeeze right on through, and just.
I watch Ashley pass, and Holly doesn't really have like getting ready. They came here as a mermaid, they will leave here as a mermaid. And almost float along a little bit entranced, and as Aisling goes out to the beach, Holly stays nearby to stay within earshot of the rest of their school, Motley, and rests chin hands over to watch Aisling on the beach.
Okay.
From a different angle.
Oh man, this is rough. Okay, so you head out there. Aisling, as you begin to move out onto the beach, something starts to occur to you.
Yeah.
You need glamour.
I know.
To be able to see him.
I know.
So you reached about 30 yards out onto the sand. As you get out there, as the waves are starting to crash in, you can see some of the rocks. Beach is empty right now. You just hear gulls overhead. And you can feel he's out here somewhere.
Yeah.
You can make a perception kenning roll.
I would love to.
It's a difficulty 7. So you need a 7 or better on perception plus kenning.
Okay. 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 1, 2. Back down to 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes.
I roll
So-
my perception kenning is 9 dice.
Okay. So here's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see him, but you cannot converse or interact with him unless you spend a point of glamour, of which you are out of glamour.
Which I don't have any.
So
then from your perspective, you just see the Sluagh sort of floating, not really leaving any trail in the sand, almost just like a little bit of a dragging of the cloth. And then she plops down. And you see her talking this way, and not towards the water. And Aisling, so sad. She takes out her phone, and then it cuts to,
I found a new musical artist. His name is Michael Yee. I thought you might like some of his music.
and then she just presses play, knowing he can't hear it. But
Aisling, it plays out like you've seen it play out occasionally when he can't see you or interact with you. But you see the apparition completely focused on his board, giving it a good rub down with some wax. It's an old wooden board, probably a hand-me-down that you've seen him use a couple of times every time you've caught him when he's about to go out. Big smile on his face, keeps glancing up towards the waves like he can't wait to get out there. And you continue playing the music as you see his form get up, and with his board under his right arm, he begins to dash towards the water.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay.
and then she sets the phone down in the sand with the speaker up. And
Catch a good wave.
You see him dive into the water on top of the board and just start paddling out after he just breaks over the top of one of the waves, and then you lose sight of him.
Every time. We usually get to talk a little bit longer. I stayed up way too late. Man, such good abs.
and then just sort of lays back in the sand, with her hands like kind of propping herself up. And I'd say she looks very relaxed. Like the frustration and the like crankiness of mourning seems to have melted off of her as she's watching the ocean, as far as you can tell. And she's just kind of breathing in the air as the music is blasting. And after a few minutes, I think she like pats the sand where he was, and kind of like almost like ruffling someone's hair, she kind of like ruffles the sand, and then gives a little pat, and then stands up, grabs her phone, and starts to walk back. Yeah.
You just hear the crashing of waves and gulls overhead as you make your way back towards the house.
Yeah.
Is anybody else doing anything before the night arrives?
We were
night,
supposed to go to
the court. We're going to
yeah,
court.
Sir Gilia. Sir
Right.
Galia's a knight. She's coming to pick y'all up.
Oh, the night.
Oh,
Oh!
the
Before the
night.
Knight arrives.
When you said the night arrives, I was like, it's 11 a.m., Eric.
We
Like,
both were like, oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was 11 a.m. Yeah. what?
oh, man. When you said 11,
I was
o'clock,
appreciating.
you must have really slept in.
Double entendre. Okay.
Wow.
I am at the 10-minute mark going to, if I may have a gong in my house, I'm going to just like stand in that same spot where everything echoes and just like hit the gong. 10 minutes remain. Everyone be downstairs in 10 minutes for Sir Galia's arrival. And then I flirt back upstairs to put on makeup or something.
Okay.
Ruby immediately to own a gong like that. Like,
Skeeta just suddenly becomes like, oh, we gotta, like, it's that moment where you look at the clock and realize it's oh my gosh, I have to be ready in like 5 more minutes. And even though you've been getting ready for the past few minutes, the clock is ticking. And so there's a bit more of a frantic energy as she goes full businesswoman, just trying to get ready for this meetup here.
Can I roll one juice? Because there are juices. There are like
Yeah.
a whole lot. This felt
Do you wanna roll
really
for
like
juice?
good and important, like and very very Holly, like what has happened with Skeeta.
Fair.
And before we leave,
Oh, let me get my
and since
food
I
log.
am just like going about my business, while people
Yeah.
are coming back from beaches, I wanna roll for juice.
Okay, roll for juice.
I have my food log open.
Okay.
JOOS.
If I just grab the first 3 things like lined up to the like right, like you go in the sliding door, you turn, the counter's right there, you
Sure.
grab three. What am I having?
What are they
Skeeta?
grabbing?
Okay, so there's going to be one that's just plain tamarindo, which is a brown tree fruit seed thing.
Tamarind.
And it looks bad, but it's delicious. It's
Yeah.
sweet, tropical fruit juice. So that's one. So it's a brown juice you would grab. You'd also probably grab just a pretty typical like peach, mango, pineapple, tropical thing. And then I want to know if you like the peaches and cream soda.
Huh. Okay.
I love this mini game that we've developed for the Barony of Olives. All right. That could mean anything.
that could mean anything. It's one extreme or the other.
96
Whoa.
For the Tamarando?
for the cocktail of the 3 of them.
Oh,
Which is like this beautiful, like this lovely combination, right? Because I was
Oh
like,
my
what's up?
goodness.
The 3 things I grab is just like they're all going in something.
Oh.
And
Amazing.
I think they all
Wow.
speak. I think they actually kind of speak to each
They
other
actually work
surprisingly
together.
well. There's
Weirdly,
like
yes.
tropical and peach, and like it's all just sort of working together. And apparently, it is all working together. Oh wow! Oh, I'm the happiest bean. I'm the happiest bean. I'm the happiest bean.
What is the drink called?
Yeah.
I think Holly should name it.
Right now it's magic drink. I don't know what to tell you. This is a 96 on a D100. It's magic drink. It's
Magic
magic
drink.
drink.
And paradise.
Oh right, because this is my first carbonated beverage in it.
Oh yeah.
This is magic drink, my friends.
It's
like-
drink with bubbles, of course.
Bubbles.
Mhm.
It's
Oh, good.
Magic
Now
bubbles.
my nose feels weird, but in a different way from the
Yeah.
chlorine.
Bubble magic.
Bubble magic.
Bubble magic.
96. Got
Oh
it.
my god.
Thank you so much.
Eliza, I
for
love
this
you.
interlude.
Elise, did you see what Eliza posted in our chat in Facebook chat? Check it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
all of these in my notes as
I'll
well.
tweet it too.
We should release this to the family at some point so that everyone
is
can keep
good.
track of Holly's
I
food
will-
list.
I'll
now I
tweet it,
just want food. Now I'm just hungry.
Yeah, I know.
I know this
Chowder
does
and
that to me.
bubble magic are the
Chowder and bubble
two.
magic.
Bubble magic. Whoa.
That is a band name if ever I heard one.
Put it on the list.
All right. So, yeah, Holly, the taste buds are going on a magical mystery journey right now. If the spectacular psychedelic spectacle of Beatles music could be condensed into a flavor, it's kind of the extraordinary experience you're having right now as you slam this drink down, and it bubbles.
It bubbles.
And as you say, it bubbles for the first time, I suspect, in your life, all of you, I'm going to roll. Pick even or odd.
Who?
Even.
You. Pick even or odd.
Odd.
No. I'm
Sam?
asking you, Holly.
Oh, that you. Hi. Odd. I'm odd. I'm always odd.
Yep, I roll a 3. You belch. You go, it bubbles.
No, can you do it again? I'm gonna drink more of it. See if it can happen again.
Okay. You all watch this merfolk begin to engage in what most children really enjoy doing when they have their first carbonated sodas and realize they can just keep doing it. And it kind of becomes something of how many words can you get out with this? Because Bubbles sounded hilarious.
I am dignity and grace and
yep.
I have every single thought of my title.
Who's the puka now?
Yeah, exactly.
You're rubbing up. Thank you for this interlude.
At that point, you all get a text that a car has pulled up outside.
The Slua is just all of a sudden standing in the frame, and you don't know when she got there, but she's now in the group standing there.
Awesome. Yep.
Skeeta comes down, or actually now the house layout, I forget, whatever, up or down the stairs.
We're figuring it out.
Top floor, yeah, probably to the top floor where the door frame would be, and stands next to Aisling and says, "Is everyone ready?"
In my patchwork purse, I open up my patchwork purse, pull out a thing of spray deodorant, and just go, shh, shh. Yep.
Wonderful.
I believe that's a yes.
By the way, Skeeta is wearing something that is very fancy for just going. You all notice this. This is fancier. Usually she's in something between athleisure and like business manager, like cute, like a turtleneck top like this kind of thing, but with like leggings. This time she's wearing like a frilled, puffy, puffy, like almost Victorian, but like in the 90s kind of retro fashion way.
Okay.
And she put like her hair up with like really glittery clips all over it, and she just looks like very dazzled up.
Okay.
Skeeta, you look great. And
No
Jared's,
pinning
like,
rolls
leaning
required
back.
to find out if you are a changeling today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I just excited to see the Baron again.
Right.
Everyone
Yana's
clocks
been leaning
that.
back.
We're all looking at you like, uh-huh.
You look good.
I mean, yeah.
Luckily, I wore 4 sets of clothing last night, so I have a fresh pair.
Perfect. And Skeeta would have offered sorry, I should have said this before. Anything you need, like toiletries, clothes, if you want to, you can use them in her house.
My purse is like a Mary Poppins bag. I had like a toothbrush. I had like
Everything.
I'm used to like Ruby's lived on the road where she's just like, oh yeah, like she always carries minor essentials like little travel bag.
Is our carriage here?
Yeah, the carriage, which is out front, is, as I said before, the knight herself, Sir Galia, has arrived to pick you up. Sir Galia, as a quick refresher, is a troll. She is a Seelie troll of House Skaha. She is currently dressed in what appears to be a more formal attire, but what kind of tips you off that something is up is she's wearing her breastplate, which she only does when things are getting a little dicey. You've seen her wear it a few times, but it's mostly when like the way people kind of it's like when people bring bug spray to camping because they're not sure what's going to happen. She's wearing her breastplate. Her weapon is not currently visible on her right now because also as part of her clothes is a long, beautiful coat that almost looks like a cloak from behind, but it has sleeves that goes out, drops all the way down to her ankles. She's the deep blue skin and the bright yellow eyes, white shock of hair going off the top between the two blue horns that crease up and sort of poke out from her forehead. She has a very serious countenance on her face. She's also, like very typical for most trolls, she is ripped and standing at about 6'6", 6'7". She could almost look eye to eye to B. Dave Walters kind of thing, like that level of height. She gets out of the driver's side car, and that's when you all notice that it's not a car, it's actually a pickup truck with a flatbed in the back. There's a cab, an extended cab for people to sit in the back, but if anybody wants to ride in the back, it is completely open. But she steps out and looks at all of you like she was about to come to the door, but when she sees you all approaching, she just nods and gets back into the truck. Even at her size, she's still kind of like squeezing into that truck. To give you a better idea of how this works in the changeling world, intention is everything. So her human seeming fits into this truck just fine. However, her troll seeming, you see it compensating. Your changeling eyes see a troll that's squeezing into a truck and is getting kind of comfortable, shifting around. And she looks over at you and nods for everyone to get in.
Can I fit in the glove compartment?
I don't think you can fit into something that small.
Dang it. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's a little too small for you.
Okay.
You could probably...
No, it's fine. I'll sit in the bed.
You could certainly fit into the toolbox that she has. The toolbox that is the width. You know those white toolboxes that those I forget what their official name is, but they're these metal white toolboxes sit on the back of truck beds towards the front. Easy enough to squeeze into that, even though it's actually filled with tools.
That doesn't sound as fun.
Sounds pokey.
Yeah.
There's the spot between, in an extended, there will be like a little bit of distance between the physical back of the cab and the seats.
Yeah.
That's a good squeezy spot.
That is a very good squeezy spot. You could squeeze into that, yes.
Yes.
Because it's lengthwise. You just kind of spread out lengthwise.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll take
I'm feeling comfort. Go ahead.
From the fact that there are tools here, I'm figuring there's something resembling a tie down that I can use for the truck bed.
There's a bunch of tie downs.
For Phoenix's character, whom Holly hasn't named.
At that point, if Holly requests it, of course, the knight would be more than happy to serve. And if you're putting anything in the bed of the truck, she will immediately, as a troll especially, is endeared to come to anybody's assistance who needs to move anything up into the bed of a truck.
Well, I'm just pulling it up after me, so.
Okay. You just hop up there, your tail flops over, you reach down and just pull it back up into the back of the truck, slide over to the side, lash Phoenix's Phoenix NPC. We don't have a name for it yet. No. Treasure wheels. You just kind of lash treasure wheels to the back of the truck, and everyone getting underway. She hasn't said a word to anybody. She starts the truck back up and closes her door. As the radio comes on, she immediately switches it off and begins to pull away from the curb, looks for traffic, pulls out. You see her immediately turn off the maps and starts driving away from your residence. And she's quiet for a moment. And she looks in the back when rear view mirror just to see, and she counts each and every one of you to make sure she's got everybody. And she glances over to you, Skeeta, and then to you, Gira, and just nods to you. Says, "Good to see you again. You're the new kid, right? Didn't think I got a chance to meet you yet."
Yeah. Nice to meet you as well.
She squints a little bit and says, "No, I think maybe I did meet you. I don't remember. I meet a lot of people."
Yeah, it's been a little fascinating these past few days, I will say.
Yeah, I need you guys to fill me in. There's a lot of shit happening right now, and y'all seem to be at the tip of the spear, so I need to know what's been going on. I got that strange message about things that you've discovered, questions you were all asking. So tell me what's going on, please.
Yeah, I got the hell beat out of me, and I woke up in the middle of a catch-up summoning circle in the forest.
That gets a look from her. She glances back, takes her eyes off the road for a second, and then snaps back and goes, "Okay, why don't we start with that?"
At least
What
they
the hell?
used a
Last I heard, y'all
condiment.
were fighting shadows. You were fighting nightmares or something like that. Does this have anything to do with this? And when did that happen? And are you okay?
I'm okay now. I was rescued basically by everybody here, but it was a little harrowing. I don't remember really what exactly happened.
There was a forest fire.
That too.
Yeah, I saw something about that on the news.
Don't worry, it became a campfire. Or did it not?
No, there's no. You did, but there was reports, according to the news, the local news said there was reports of a smoke coming up from the woods. Somebody reported it.
Yes.
And there had been evidence that there had been a fire.
Yes.
I have to pay attention to this shit.
Is there anything else that you need to know?
Everything. Tell me what's going on.
We have a new resident at the school library. That was pretty, I would say, eventful.
Yeah, we made something out of something else. A nightmare turned into a chimera.
She gets quiet, and her expression shifts as he continues to drive. And there's a few moments where she doesn't say anything at all. She kind of eyes each and every one of you, and I'm going to have her roll. Okay. You see, she blinks hard for a moment, like she's trying to shake fog out of her head. And she says, "You know what? Save it for the Baron. Let's save all of this for the Baron."
Okay.
It'll probably be easier not to tell the tale twice.
That would be
That's
exhausting.
what I'm thinking. Yeah, I suspect so. And respectfully, the things you were all saying make no sense.
I've been told that before.
You know what, Puka? I believe you.
That's a first, too.
Uh-huh. And with that, you all drive to Point Reed, which is where the freehold is located. And once again, pulling up to the dock, you find yourselves looking out over the bay, where you can see just off the coast, maybe 300 yards away from the water line, is a small island where Point Reed, the freehold of the Barony of Olives, is located. The smell of salt water immediately smacks into your face the moment you all get out of the truck. For the rest of you, it's just a nice, cool oceanic breeze that just brings back memories of home.
Does being in the freehold give us back glamour?
If the Baron decides it does.
Oh, okay.
Anybody who controls the freehold actually gets to decide who the balefire rewards glamour to. And the Baron is in control of the freehold, so it's up to him.
Okay.
However, I will say that since you went through your seining and you have all been here at the freehold for some time now, at least 6 months, you all know that the Baron is actually not stingy with glamour at the freehold at all, and is known to share the glamour as particularly changelings in need who will come in and need it. Glamour, of course, is very valuable, not only for casting changeling magic, but Kithay need it to stave off banality sometimes. And in this case, the Baron is very liberal about who he gives the glamour to. When you all dismount from the truck, she parks it, gets out, slams the door closed. You all make your way down. The dock, where you see Lord Amar Ap Dougal with his foot kicked up. As a reminder, Lord Amar Ap Dougal is a knocker. You can see these big red dots that look like they've been painted with like neon red paint on his cheekbones. He has dark, rich black skin, nice shaved head, black vest on, he's not wearing anything underneath it, and like really worn down jeans and combat boots. He's got a big cigar in his mouth, and he looks like he's reading the morning paper as you're all walking up. And he glances up, and when he sees you, he immediately folds the paper close and stands up and goes, all right. Was told you were all coming. He just hops into the back of the boat. Goes over and starts to start it up.
We're not even all in the... Never mind.
Tries to get on the boat quickly.
Yeah. As you move towards the boat, you see, again, this boat looks like a strange amalgam of the orca from Jaws, for those of you who have seen it. And so it's like a large fisherman's boat is what it looks like, that's been turned into something of a ferry. But it is lined with like rusted brass piping. So it kind of looks like a steampunk's nightmare of like a rusted ferry boat that has metal where it should not be, all over the side of the boat, kind of like giving it that sort of copperish, rusted green tint to everything around the sides of the boat itself. As you were all moving towards the boat itself, you see immediately one of these pipes immediately juts up, just goes and folds, it pivots sideways, and you see gears come out, and a ramp just goes slams down onto the dock. And a hydraulic hiss.
I don't know how gracefully the timing works out, but Holly's going to wheel down up to the edge of it, and when Chair stops by hitting the wall of the boat, Holly's just going to keep going and wash some of that chlorine off them.
Okay. Anybody watching from the shoreline would be horrified by what they just saw, but Holly, you embrace the cold waters of the ocean. Just you all just see Holly in their element. The big, long, sort of luscious, almost rainbow glittered tail takes to its full extent as Holly dips down underneath the waves. It takes a second, Holly, because unfortunately, since you're so close to the shore, there is the occasional slick of oil that's just kind of hanging out on the surface. Gives you like a nasty taste into the back of your gills, but you manage to push past it and get down low. A couple of crabs immediately scatter out of your way as you pull yourself across some of the barnacle covered rocks, and you are now in the cold waters of the Pacific as the boat overhead just goes, starts to rumble as the rest of you saddle onto the boat. The boat begins, you see the propellers begin to turn. From underneath though, Holly, it's a unique thing. Underneath, the propellers are not blades. You see what looks like chimerical fish that are in what looks like this strange, almost like metal cage. Each one of them looks like they're in the middle of doing something very domestic, like having conversations while they too are reading papers underwater. And when they hear the boat start up, they just nod and give each other like fish high fives with their fins and begin to swim in circles at incredible speed. Just overhead, the boat just goes, begins to pull away.
Oh no, Kit's losing his mind down there.
Yeah, Kit's staring up at this, going like, "Oh man, I could so eat the propellers of that boat. I could so eat those propellers." Like,
I've got Kit like hugged like a teddy bear. Like, you're sticking with me.
Nope. Bad.
Enough for today.
Yeah. And the instinct washes over you, Holly, as you're swimming, as the boat begins to make its way towards the island. It's that same impulse that every dolphin feels when they see a boat overhead splitting the waves. And you all, as you're pulling away from the shore, Lord Amar looks back to all of you and says, "All right, so I have to ask, what the fuck is going on?" Sir Galia just shakes her head and she says, "We're going to bring it to the Baron first, and then if he's all right with it, I'll absolutely fill you in. But it seems the fire, they know something about it." Again, Agalia just kind of nods back to all of you, and Sir Amar turns and looks at everyone and nods and goes, I don't know. That doesn't surprise me somehow. It's always the new Motley. Have you noticed that? It's always the new ones. Like, everyone's a childer, no matter what they are. You know what I mean? Once you realize you're a Kithane, you just got to play around. I mean, I remember the first fire I ever started. And he holds up his cigar and taps it and goes, I tried filling my whole mouth with cigars because I can make fire, you know? So I saw this once when I was a kid. You just light all your fingertips on fire and try to light every cigar all at once. Anyway.
Pretty sure that was a cartoon.
It was a cartoon. It was a cartoon. Lit my hair on fire. Keep it shaved ever since. You all coasting through the waves. He glances over the side as he sees Holly like jumping through the water, and he kind of gives a smile as he pulls long drag off the cigar. And then he looks over at you, Skeeta, and offers you the cigar, and he goes, you want to try one? They're awful for you.
Sure. I reach out and take the cigar.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited because we're going to have you roll. I'm going to
see if I like it.
Yeah. This is so I'll let you decide if you like it, but okay. I am going to have you make just a straight up stamina check.
Okay. Stamina. Oh, okay. Haha. Okay.
Yeah. Difficulty 6. Smokey's bad and good.
Oh, I got a 9.
A 9. Okay. I'll let you decide how Skeeta feels about it, but as you take in the hot air and get the flavor and the warmth that spreads through your body, as you exhale, you can tell me how Skeeta takes it. But he looks impressed as you take it in and just, all right.
Skeeta likes to, blend in, and part of that is kind of being a social chameleon. So she kind of just snaps into this mode of like, I've seen people like smoke cigars and like how they react and how they talk about it. So she starts doing that. And she's like, very earthy kind of, yeah. I can really taste the different tannins. I don't know. She just starts talking a lot of weird stuff.
He starts losing his attention to the driving and he starts listening to you and goes,
yeah. So really good. What year was this?
I don't know. I bought those this morning.
Smells like maybe like a 2007 classic. Yeah, this is really good.
2007 classic.
Mm-hmm. She hands it back over to him.
He takes it, and Sir Galia pipes in at this point and just says, those things are disgusting and they'll kill you. Oh, fucking calm down.
I gave up years ago.
Y'all are pulling up to the dock as you just slide that in, Ruby. A few moments later, you're all approaching the gate, the doorway to the freehold. And it is kind of a funny sight as you're all walking up, and of course wheeling up behind you is just a trail of water as Holly just like completely soaked as Holly just wheels right up behind all of you up the ramp to the front door. Sir Galia knocks 2 times, then a third, then waits and knocks again. The door swings open and you see a suit of armor standing at the door. You see this big knightly suit of armor just standing there at the door and says, Sir Galia, you have returned. Do come in, if you would, please. And it starts to shift a little bit to the left. It goes, no. And it shifts to the right and says, wrong string. And it turns on a heel and begins to walk back. And Sir Galia motions you all to follow her as she steps into the room. And of course, once again, you were greeted by what seems to be this large, like lacquered wooden hallway that has all of this memorabilia from like golden age of piracy stuff and nautical like imagery of like merfolk splashing and swimming near humpback whales, but also like storm clouds and Poseidon and all these other like paraphernalia. You see a couple of flags that look like antique flags from ships and whatnot. And moving in towards the back, once again, you find yourselves approaching the Baron's study, walking past a suit of armor, which, by the way, retakes his place up on one of the stands, just and it turns and almost bumps into the wall and goes, no. It's still the wrong string. Just gonna, and it corrects itself and comes to a stop. You all enter.
Oh no, I bow to him first and say, good to see you again, Sir Mouse.
Ah, it is good to see you, Lady Sluha. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name.
Oh, you can call me Ashling.
Ashling. Oh, that's adorable. It's like Ash, but a baby Ash. You're an Ashling. Oh,
well, it means dream.
It's a bit on the nose, isn't it? I love it. It has a certain honesty to it, like a. Would you agree, Gregor? What? The other turns and says, Ashling's name. Would you not agree that it has sort of like an honesty flavor to it? Do you taste honesty? And Gregor says, what in the God's name are you talking about? Ashling, the Sluha. She's standing right in front of me, man. Well, I can't see out of this damn thing. I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, never mind.
Ashling is just sitting here kind of touching the spot where she doesn't really have a nose. And just,
Yes. Well, ta-ta.
That suit of armor just shink, just hear the scraping noise of metal as it kind of floppy waves at you before it goes back down.
I see Pipsqueak looking at the two armor, like knowing that they're what's inside and like waving his tail, wanting to pounce, and I've just put my hand on his head like, please don't hunt the knights.
Okay. You all enter into the main study area. And once again, you see that grand desk. It looks like a captain's desk that's been removed from the interior of an old tall ship. You can see some of the barnacles that have been carved, meticulously sculpted into the wood, giving it a beautiful masterwork finish. The banners, of course, of Houth Skaha all over the walls, as well as the stained glass. And you can all feel the presence of the balefire in the freehold in this room. The balefire is visible from where you all are, not too far from here, near an old chimney that burns like an old fisherman's house. And the stone fireplace off to the side is the beautiful green flame that crackles and burns at the base of the fireplace. It is the color of flowing emerald. It doesn't exude any heat, but instead you all know this flame is made out of pure glamour. It's an expression of the dreaming in the real world, and it lights the room. Everything in this room, because of the presence of that flame, is enhanced. Your changeling seemings become sharper, more vibrant, more beautiful. For you, Ashling, your seeming becomes a little darker, a little more mysterious. Your eyes seem a little more sunken, your face a little more gaunt. There's a little more of that fox, like fox seeming to you, Ruby. As your ears become like a more vibrant color of red. It's like black tip at the end of your tail.
A little bit.
And there he is, the Baron, the noble Autumn She, sitting behind the desk, looking at what seems to be some kind of stone tablet that's quite thin. And he's thumbing through it, and he glances at all of you. Again, for the description, I very much am just ripping off a bearded Oscar Isaac from Dune, is kind of what he looks like, as he's just glances at everybody as you're all coming in, that thick peppered beard in front of his face, as he kind of glances at everybody and sets it down. He pulls his cloak over him and rises. As he rises, immediately, Sir Galia takes bows very low and nods to all of you to do the same. Even as he's waving off, no, that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. Thank you. That's not necessary. And she exhales and looks at him and says, Sire. And you see him just exhale and just, very well. And she looks at all of you and says, please bow to the Baron.
Bowing.
You see him. He kind of looks away for a moment and waits for this to be done with. But as everyone finishes their bow, he says, now that ridiculous tradition is out of the way, he steps around the side of the desk and leans against it and says, there have been certain events that have been happening in the past 24 hours. But before we get to what I know, I need to know what has been happening with all of you.
Well, I invested in some cryptocurrency recently, and it did not end well.
That will happen, and I highly advise you against that.
I have a date on Tuesday night. Would you like to be more specific? Like, what do you mean?
Well, cryptocurrency is largely unstable, and NFTs are bullshit, quite frankly.
Yes. No, I'm aware of that. I mostly did it. I lost a bet a day or per se, but I meant like when you said, "What's up with us?" Like, and do you have like a timeline of what you're?
The past 24 hours, Ruby.
Oh,
I need to know what your Motley has been doing in the past 24 hours and how you are connected to what I know. Please proceed.
As I'm about to talk, I'm like, I'm gonna let Skeeta and I'm gonna let them take this, just for time. I'm just gonna just back up, knowing
Ruby,
that if I try to explain anything, it's just gonna be not right.
Ruby, at that point, you begin to realize that Ashley might be holding what looks like your hair.
Oh.
The Baron is just waiting. He looks at the Motley.
Oh, well, I will tell you briefly what happened earlier in the day. We encountered two nightmares. One was connected to a young woman who attends the same school as Guerra, and we defeated that one. And then the second one was at Ruby's school, and we defeated that one, but also maybe turned it into a chimera. We're not sure how we did it, but we did it somehow. And now it is a friendly creature that lives at the school. Yes. Questions?
He glances
just
over.
Stating for the record, I am not telling this tale, Your Honor, Highness.
He glances over at Sir Galia, and Sir Galia he says, just so I am sure I understand what you are saying, Skeeta. You're saying that you encountered a nightmare that you managed to turn into a chimerical creature.
Yes, that is correct. That is what I am saying.
Professor Scooter.
Where is this creature now?
Probably reading.
At the school. Mm-hmm.
At your school? He points at you, Ruby.
No.
Very good. Sir Galia, I want you to go over there and interview Professor Scooter. And she says, I'll get on it right away, my lord. And she nods to all of you and turns on heel and immediately walks out. She waves back at you, Holly, as she catches your wave. She just he says, I'm going to get back to that at some point. But before we go any further, I am trying to put together some pieces of a puzzle that has begun to develop over the past 24 hours. And everything seems to point to all of you having something to do with what's happening. Not necessarily that you are responsible, but that you've become entangled with the very thing that I'm having trouble piecing together. And a large part of this mystery centers around Imogen Gale's School of Etiquette.
It's very magical.
Magical. Do any of you have a connection to this place?
Look, I'm a very I'm a very academic person.
Yes, I was sent there by my mother.
Interesting. Sent there by your mother.
Yes.
If I remember
That a
correctly.
nice little adventure over to some school where they'll teach me some proper manners will, suit me good. And it didn't.
Gira, I need to ask you a few questions, and I apologize for being so blunt.
Please, I prefer that.
Is any member of your family enchanted? Are they aware of the Kithane world?
Not that I'm aware of. Not even if it smacked them right in the face. I don't think they'd be aware of it.
I think I understand.
We can test that theory.
Ruby, who was it here that said, which one of you said it was magical?
Oh, yes.
I point to myself.
The Baron says, it's very difficult to hide what they're trying to hide, but someone is trying to hide something at that school. And so for the next few minutes, I want you to take me through what's happened there and what nightmares you've encountered. And then when you're done, I'm going to tell you what Mr. Shade has uncovered and what
Mr.
we have
Shade?
learned. Yes, my seneschal also functions as my eyes and ears, as it were, for the barony. I typically send them out to uncover mystery that may have started to unfurl itself. Something that's been trying to avoid the gaze of the authority of the barony, as it were. Something is going on at that school. I need to know what. And here's what I know for a fact, is that someone has been taking great pains to hide a trod at that school. We know it is there. And if I can confirm that, then I'm afraid I am going to have a quest for each of you.
Oh, delightful. It wouldn't be the dean, perchance.
I don't know yet. But that a trod exists this close to the freehold means it must have been there for some time, and someone has taken great pains to hide it.
May I roll a what do we call it?
Grammary.
I
Grammary.
had another name for it. I forgot.
It's okay. Again, the language of my people is quite... Yeah.
Grimmy Grims, yes.
Grimmy Grims.
I need to make a note.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, and that would be
so that's
intelligence? Or
well, what are you trying to... It depends on what you're trying to do. Are you just trying to like suss out your lore and your knowledge to try to figure out?
Yeah. If I know what a trod is, if I'm aware of other trods in the world, I know? Anything.
You wouldn't have to roll for that. A trod, a trod, that's something you definitely would know about. All of you would know this. A trod is a magical gateway. It is a gateway to the dreaming. And most trods will lead to the near dreaming. Some rare trods will take you as far as the far dreaming.
And we were wondering.
Yeah. And then there's the deep dreaming, which is where things get wild. What were you wondering?
Well, we were wondering back in the woods whether maybe the people who are doing the ketchup circles were doing party magic. So if it's a trod, then that makes sense.
That's so true.
This is why I need to know what you know. He scoots over a large red velvet chair and sits down, and in a very unnoble-like manner. You're used to seeing She always compose themselves, standing very upright, being very formal. He instead puts his elbows onto his knees and leans forward and says, "All right, let's put together our pieces, my friends." And that's where we're going to pause for our break. So we will be back in 10 minutes. Go take a bathroom break, grab some snacks, gather your glamour, and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Gather your glamour.
Welcome back to what I think is the Barony of Olives. I'm pretty sure.
I think we just renamed it.
I don't know. It's hard to say after that. I'm recovering. We're gonna go ahead and pick up in sort of the aftermath of the exposition, and then we can get to anything you wanted to include in it. But let's go ahead and assume that for the past 20 minutes, you've kind of been answering questions, and the Baron is constantly pressing everybody and asking details about the things that have happened over the past 24 hours, specifically regarding to your fight with the nightmares, what that was like. Asks a lot of questions about Professor Scooter. But then definitely seems keenly interested on the discovery of Gira in the forest and the whole ketchup circle fire thing that happened there. Lots of questions. Some of them seem a little curious. The questions that he's asking, he seems a little curious. Like it seems like he's got some knowledge of perhaps lore or maybe even grammary that you guys don't have, because he's asking questions like, well, did you find any sulfur? Did you and what was like, what did the air taste like asking strange questions off to the side that when you are like, no, I didn't experience that, he just kind of waves it off and continues pressing you for more details. But he seems pretty satisfied. By the time you're done, he leans back in the chair and he says, that's more than what we have. All we know is somewhere in that college is a trod, and that someone is going through lengths to hide it. I need to know why. We've tried to find where it is, but someone is using what I can only assume, based off of the knowledge that we've gained, a very powerful spell of some kind, probably chicanery if I had to guess, and is obfuscating any trace of where that portal could be. So we might have to do this in a much more challenging way.
Well, I know all about etiquette. I can always, submit myself to become a substitute there.
I've got a better idea. How about we clear the place full of all the people, except maybe the more terrible ones, and we just raze it to the ground. Then we'll find a portal or whatever.
Or I could just substitute.
Don't want to substitute there.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying I want to be there all the time. I'm just saying, if we have to go and get more, if we have to go and Scooby-Doo this shit, then I would much rather do it.
No, but Ruby does make an excellent point. Are you suggesting for a mission that we enroll and or work at the school?
Are you asking the Baron?
Yes.
The Baron considers that for a moment. He says, I don't think I want to toil that deeply into mortal politics.
Oh, thank goodness. I do not want to go back to school.
I love school.
It's playing with a certain amount of fire, getting that involved in the mortal politics side of things. I'd much rather do this in a more subtle way, something a little more Kithane way, if I may be so blunt.
The Slua leans close to Hallie and just says, metaphorical fire.
They set one right outside the school.
Yes, yes, different kind. Emotional fire.
Holly sits back in her chair to contemplate that notion.
I think what this is going to require is out-of-the-box thinking. If they're hiding it from us from without, it's a long shot, but it's possible we might be able to find it from the other side.
You mean going to the dreaming?
He nods.
Or I could substitute. This is Ruby's way of the only plan she has. She's good at this part.
Well, Ruby, it's a private school. He looks over at you and says, "It's a private school that functions on etiquette and high society."
Yes, you should see my academic papers on etiquette.
I have no doubt that you have the ability to present academic papers on etiquette. But I do have concerns about the snobbery of the people controlling the school.
I can do snobbery. Piece of cake.
I think my point is I think they can do it much better than all of us, even me.
Yes. Nobody can truly replicate the bollocks and snobbery that comes from that ilk.
Look, I watched Downton Abbey. I can nail it. That's all I'm saying.
He tilts his head and says, "If you think that that's a viable course, I would love to hear your plan. Once you were brought in as a substitute, then what?"
I sniff around. Pipsqueak sniffs around. I don't know if there's something there that worth sniffing. We'll smell it.
That could work.
It would be helpful to have somebody on the faculty, or at least access to some of the faculty areas.
I could do that.
If we were to pull this plan off, it would require having them require a substitute, which means somebody would have to be temporarily removed from the equation.
We'd have to dispatch the worst one they have, probably.
I can help with that.
I get very close to Gietta.
I would very much love that.
Does anyone mind me? Oh no, I guess we're probably not etiquette wise to take a phone out in the Baron's presence. I'm using my etiquette knowledge. My brain. I'm not saying this out loud. I don't think. Nope, definitely am. Crap.
Okay, so
I was gonna look up the classes that the school teaches.
I see.
But my phone obviously is not as smart as everyone else's. So I was gonna.
No, it's not. You're not gonna find anything on the flip phone, unfortunately.
Nope, guess not. Really should update my technology. Okay.
What is the Baron's full? When people speak to the Baron, do they use the full name moniker or just refer to him as the Baron?
Your Honor.
What is the proper?
Marinus Abskacha, right?
Right. Well, but do people when they address him, do they say the full name or?
My lord is usually what he accepts. Okay. Some people try to get a little more formal with that, but he kind of shoots it down. So what you get from the Baron, this particular Baron in particular. The dynamic you've gotten is Sir Galia is trying to enforce the laws of the court because they're very important to Kithane society. They're all a part of the Dreaming's rituals and everything else. They're very important. The Baron tries to eschew them in order to get to the point. One thing you know about Baron Marinus is that he is very much an impatient man. He tends to just want to find out exactly what's happening and get to that. As a result of that, he tends to find the niceties to be somewhat upsetting. So Baron or my lord, but that's all he takes.
Lord Skatha, or
I like it.
So Apskaha means of the house of Skaha. So his house is Skaha. So if you call him Baron Skaha, it wouldn't make too much sense. It'd be
my lord.
Yeah,
Lord.
My lord is fine.
Lord. I'll just say Lord. It feels weird to say my lord, but Lord.
I have one more question about the Trods. Do you believe this to be a new pathway? I know most of them have been eroding for the last several hundred years. Do you believe that this one is still functioning and goes to where it needs? Or do you think they lucked out and found one rotting that still travels to where they unintentionally knew they needed?
He nods and says, "Indeed, Aisling, indeed. That will be exactly what we need to discover."
Is there anyone we know that has a record of local Trods?
That would be me. He leans back into his chair for a second and folds his fingers together and he says, "And to my recollection, aside from Caer Angelus, which is south of us, Point Reed is the only place that has a Trod." The nearest trod after Cara Angelis is far north. The Kingdom of Pacifica has a total of maybe 12 functioning trods that I'm aware of at the moment. An unfortunate number considering the state of things.
Hmm.
There was once hundreds of trods. And there are legends that tell of times when the dreaming and the mortal world were so close that it was almost as if the shattering had never happened. You would have to be careful which doors you walked through. You might find yourself through the maze. Those days are long gone now.
Hmm.
Well, surely we'll find this one. We can all work together.
Gira, you are our point of contact for this school. I'm going to have to ask a lot of you. You're going to have to keep your eyes and ears open in order to take in as much information as you can while you're there. And what's more important, you're going to have to proceed like you are unaware of what's happening. Whoever wiped your memory using this ritual and whoever is hiding this trod is no doubt watching you right now. They're going to look for any opportunity. Yes, you. You're the one that goes to the school and they're aware of it. So if they see you acting out of the ordinary, it's very likely that they'll catch on that we're onto them.
Hmm.
In other words, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to attend all of your classes and proceed like nothing has happened.
She angrily sits at her team. And then she almost kind of cracks the ceramic, places it down. All right.
Starting Monday.
Of course. When? Today?
Monday.
Oh, sorry. Lost my temper there. Right.
I'm going to have... In the meantime, though, I want to take advantage of this time that we have. If we can't afford to have Gator go missing, if we can't afford to have anybody notice that Gator is not attending class, it means we need to take advantage of the weekend that we have right now before class goes back. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask all of you to check the other side immediately.
Okay.
Tell me. He rises from his seat and he says, your saying wasn't that long ago. How many of you have entered the near dreaming? Ah. He nods as no one really raises their hands. However, it is worth pointing out, Holly, that the merfolk live so close in tandem with the dreaming that the near dreaming never feels like it's that far away or even on the other side of a door. Oftentimes where you're from, the dreaming is quite close to where you are all from.
Right, we don't have doors, so it's not separated by a door. And
no, usually
if he knows that, he knows that. And if he doesn't know that, I'm not telling him.
I will tell you that, Holly, what you know for a fact is there are certain sea caves that you can swim through that will take you deeper into the dreaming that would definitely be considered trods, but they don't function like doorways. It's more of just like tunnels that you move through and then you find yourselves on the other side. What sounds like what he's describing sounds a lot more like a lot less elegant. Doesn't sound like it's just a tunnel that takes you to the next place. It sounds like it's a rather blunt instrument.
It's land stuff, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Land stuff is not as elegant. And they have more coldness here.
Mm-hmm. He says, there's absolutely no guarantee that you're going to find any trace of this trot on the other side. The near dreaming is very different. But in many ways, you'll see familiar sights while you're there. If this trod leads to the near dreaming, we have a chance of finding it. If not, then we'll have learned something new. Into the near dreaming and go to the school in the near dreaming. Holly, you're going to say something.
What are we looking for at the school?
He nods. Indeed. Trods can take all different forms, but the one thing that they all hold in common is they resemble doorways of one kind or another. Sometimes a door might be a wardrobe, or it could be a literal door that could take you into the next reality, as it were.
Gera?
Yes.
Well, you've been to the school. Near dreaming doors are usually created by mortals. The sort of their thoughts pooling together with the dreaming and the mortals realm. Where is a place that might inspire those that go to your school? Maybe we can find a doorway near one of those. Are there any music classes or maybe a theater backstage door?
Well, unfortunately, there's not very many places that inspire the students there, but there are places where they escape to quite frequently, as often as possible, and I think that would be what we're looking for.
Yes, let's go there.
Okay. There was a balcony off to the corner, overlooking the ocean. Lots of staff didn't really know that door still worked. It was supposed to be a storage room, but many people, I do remember, gather there when they can.
Is that like a makeout closet?
Oh, perhaps. But that's part of the rumor, I guess.
Is that what we were in, Aisling?
Oh, I missed this part.
I think I was gone for this too.
Yeah, you were hitting things with your bag.
Yeah.
Aisling like remembers the several times that she walked in on the owners kissing in there.
Yes. Yes.
I filed this away.
Okay. The Baron waits patiently as you all work this out. He doesn't say anything. And when you're done, he says, I will give you access to the Trod here in the Freehold. It will take you into the near dreaming, and from there you must journey to the school. It will be a bit of a long journey. Well, it doesn't seem very long here in the mortal world. There are no Ubers waiting for you in the near dreaming, so it's going to be a long trek.
At the mention of Uber, the scooter flashes in Aisling's mind. She just lets out a gasp.
He looks at you with a mild concern on his face, and he says, Aisling, is everything all right?
I left my wheels. It's fine.
Wheels.
My scooter, not the professor. It's fine.
Very well. Well, I suppose we should get started then. He rises from his chair and looks at everyone and says, this is going to be your first journey into the dreaming for a lot of you. Be very wary. It is a place that will make your heart sing. But it's also a very dangerous place.
How dangerous?
Well, your physical form will be your chimerical form taking a single role. In other words, here in the mortal world, you have your mortal seeming and your changeling seeming. When you enter the dreaming, it will simply be your changeling seeming. And chimerical damage, which we can often shrug off, or if we're wounded chimerically here in the mortal world, in the autumn world,
yes,
it's not a problem. Don't take it so lightly in the dreaming.
When you say your entire chimerical selves, do you mean everything?
Yes.
Shoots eyeballs at everyone.
Okay.
Maybe some of us should go in and some of us should stay here in case something happens on the other side. In case.
No, it's dangerous. We're going to need all of us.
I look back at Ainsling. Like with an I tried in my face.
while we're in there, we will be able to talk and see each other, right? It's not... We don't disappear into our own worlds, do we?
He smiles and says, "Follow me." As he moves towards the door, he pauses for a moment and says, "But before we go, you are not expected anywhere, I hope."
Actually, I do have an appointment in just a few hours.
I also have that appointment and a stream at 8:30.
Ah. I'm afraid you're going to have to cancel these things.
Oh, no.
All right.
But I was going to get signed.
Well, the offer still stands, Aisling.
Oh.
I'll just have to reschedule with Matthew. And you're welcome to come to the...
Michael Yee.
Michael.
I also had some very important meetings.
I'm sure you do, but your barony calls for you. And he strides out of the room rather
yes,
abruptly.
Your Highness.
As we follow, I will pull out my phone and text my assistant and say, "So sorry, let's reschedule for early next week."
Abby texts you back right away and says, "If you want, I can audition him and we can record it."
No, we'd like to meet him in person. I'd like to meet him in person. I have a friend.
Aisling says, Abby replies to you quickly again. You see the little 3 dots pop up on the screen and she replies, that will actually probably make him feel very encouraged. I'll let him know that we're not just ghosting him.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Ghosting?
And then she says, by the way, Miss LeBlanc also called today. She has an audition for The Man Who Fell to Earth, and she wants to read with us before she goes in.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Set something up.
She says, "Will do." You're all led down the hall into a room none of you have stepped into before. This room looks like it has stonework for walls, and you can feel the presence of the dreaming nearby. Immediately, you can feel it saturating this room. The stone along the walls are not the typical gray stone that you see in like mason work or even castles or anything like that, but rather they look like deep, glossy, like glass stones that are carved into the shape of what looks like sort of polished stones themselves that you might find in some fine mason work, but instead imagine them just different colors of glass. Very little light in here, but the light that does shine in here makes this entire room look like you've walked into a room that is surrounded by a prism, and you can see little shafts of light kind of cascading around. It's not subtle at all. And the door that is at the other end of the room is a simple wooden door that has a green vine that has grown out of a keyhole and is wrapped around the handle. This brass antique looking handle that was probably from the late 18th century. And he steps forward and he pauses and says, "It's one of the great magics of a freehold to be able to so easily enter into the dreaming. Do not lose your way. This door does not move. So when you wish to return, if there is no place on the other side, be prepared to find your way back here to this door. And we will await your return. Go see what you can find. And in the meantime, I'm going to have my knights in the court do some investigating of their own. When we reconvene, hopefully we'll have a little bit of a better idea of what's happening." One last thing I should tell you. Time sometimes, on its own whim, will pass differently in the dreaming than it does here in the world. You don't have to worry about anything like, say, what's that movie called? Interstellar. Oh. You don't have to worry about anything like that happening to you when you're in the dreaming, my friends. But do be aware that a few hours in the dreaming could mean a day here in the real world, or it could mean a few minutes.
Stream
the near dreaming
canceled.
Yeah, I'm gonna text Abby and say, actually, make it later in the week.
Abby just says, "Okay," with it's all lowercase, no punctuation, which seems to just communicate the hell. Okay, sure. And with that, he steps over to the door, puts his hand, and the doorknob responds to his touch. The moment he puts his hand across that brass fitting and begins to twist the doorknob, you see the vine just unwind and slip back into the keyhole. And this greenish bale-fired colored light begins to exude from the keyhole, and he clicks it and pulls it open. And as he does, the first thing you see on the other side is a shaft of sunlight that doesn't exit through the door, but rather just shines right down and creates a golden halo that you can see something on the other side, but not quite so well. And he just motions and says, "Good luck. And may the dreaming watch over all of you."
And also with you.
I almost said it too.
I know. Are there shiny objects? Before I go in, are there shiny objects around the room that I can quickly scan?
Yes, there are. Like I said, the whole room is currently cast in what looks like sort of a prismatic glow. It looks like there's these rainbow colored glass stones that basically make up the room from ceiling to the floor.
Okay, great. I would love to make a quick, I guess, perception kenning. I just want to see if I catch a glimpse of my shadow. Are they here?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that would probably be perception.
It's more of like,
it's your fairy
less
sight.
Like I'm scared and more of like a, where's my toddler? Like where did they go?
Okay, go ahead and roll perception kenning, and I'm going to say the difficulty of this is actually going to be 5, considering where you are right now.
Okay. 5.
5 successes?
Yes.
Every glass surface in this room seems to have a yellow baleful eye staring out from underneath it somewhere.
Okay.
That's watching you. It's like you're surrounded by thousands and thousands of spider eyes.
Okay. Okay. As I'm looking around, I just do the quick like scan of the room and end on the shiny doorknob with the brass and the yellow eye, and I do like a shh and like summon them with a quick finger wave, and then cartwheel through the door as quick as can be.
Okay. All right. So you guys kind of flip through the door?
Yeah.
Okay. Aisling just vanishes right in front of all of you. She flips into that shaft of sunlight that just seems to be cascading down and blocking your point of view from the other side of the door and is gone.
Well, that looked like fun, and I'm just going to somersault in too.
Just out of funsies, I would love to see how Ruby somersaults in. You do have parents that were in the circus, so let's make a dex. You could probably pull this off pretty well. Let's make a death athletics check.
Did you say a death athletics check? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like.
I heard you.
A dex athletics check.
Where did my character sheet go? It was out. I must have
It doesn't want to die.
I know my character sheet is hiding.
Find it.
No, what happened was I probably accidentally minimized it on accident. Okay. What am I rolling now? Dex and what? Athletics?
Death plus athletics.
Dex plus athletics. Cool. Thanks.
No problem.
6 or better? Let's see.
Yep.
Oh, boo chakalaka. What do I get? I get a 10. Does that explode or something?
Do you have a specialty?
That doesn't mean anything.
Do you have a specialty in
athletics? Not in athletics, no.
Well, not if you explode, you don't. Okay, then you flip through the door.
I got 2 successes. Yeah.
Okay. Just tumbling skirt as Ruby just goes right through the door.
Whee!
And vanishes.
Skeeta will walk up to the doorway and I'd like to get a sense of, I don't know if it's a roll or not, but does Skeeta get any like images or memories from her past that this doorway reminds her of?
Ooh, interesting. That would actually probably be You have memory, don't you? Or you have what's your background?
Remembrance. I have 1 dot in remembrance. Yeah.
I would say make a wits plus remembrance check.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay.
You have 1 dot, you said?
1 in remembrance, yeah.
So let me just pull that up.
Okay.
I love that background.
I don't know what I know. And I don't know what I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's intelligence plus remembrance. It actually tells me what the roll is here. Yeah.
Intelligence. Oh, that's 1 less die.
The difficulty is 6, but I'm going to say it's 5 here while remembering locate. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say it's difficulty 5 here.
Okay. Are there any story points?
Yeah, there's a lot because if you remember, I went ahead and rebooted that. So our story points from our SuperPunk supporters, we have an entire plethora.
I would like to use one for this.
Okay.
To get an extra die.
Excellent. Thank you, Aether Spoon.
Thank you
for that story point. So let me just pull up here. So you're going to get that extra. So basically, you're going to get what's going to happen is if you roll any 10s, they will now explode. So it's you are considered to have a specialty in this.
Oh, great. Okay. Can I?
Oh, I see. I don't explode. I'm just kidding.
I don't get an extra die from that then.
You don't get an extra die from well, hold on 1 sec, because I actually have the rules. I keep, here's the thing is we're kind of doing this as a homebrewed styled system. So I've been updating in this as we've played to just kind of balance it out. And so what I have right now is that, so it's not going to give you an extra die, but it is going to treat, what it's going to do is it's going to treat it like it's a specialization. So here's the thing is you cannot botch this roll right now. And you get a free specialization point. So it means that any 10s you roll will basically pop.
And does that also mean not botching it means a 1 won't count as a minus?
It says you gain a specialty you can't botch, and or you can spend a point to stave off any banality. So 1s will still cancel rolls, however. It just means that if you rolled no successes and only 1s, you couldn't botch.
Got it. Right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So 2 die.
Go ahead and
2 die. Intelligence. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled a 10 and an 8.
Reroll the 10.
Ooh! 2.
Actually, let's scratch that. Let's say the 10 automatically gives you an extra success because that's easier. Because the old way of doing it is you would reroll. But I think the new way of doing it in C20 is you gain an extra success automatically for pop. Yeah, I think that's an option that they present to you. And I like that better because it means you're not deprived of getting that extra success when rolling a 10, like you have a chance of doing if you re-rolled it. So, so you'll just gain an honor. So 3 successes total then, basically. All right. So it's a feeling, Skeeta, that comes over you. A feeling that stretches back past the life of the body you're living in now, past the identity of your mortal seeming. Before you were ever called Vera Bloomingfield, you were someone else. Before you were Skeeta, you can feel yourself reaching back through the ages, and there is a feeling of power, like a memory. You feel in yourself somebody who commanded authority and who others looked up to. You can't understand why, but the concept of stepping through the door into the dreaming summons forth this instinct of a feeling that one time you did this and it was heavy, it was meaningful, like maybe it was a one-way trip. It kind of brings that weight onto you for a moment. A solemn memory of another time. Of what time, you don't know. Your remembrance is 1, correct?
Yes.
So it's just that sort of fleeting sense that at some point in your lives, the Kithane soul that has traveled from one body to the next, that immortal side of you, at some point you did something very, very important. And it was a memory of you walking through a trod. Just where and when, it's hard to say. And what you were doing, you don't know.
I pause and just, it's just out of reach, just trying to remember the details of when and where and why. And then I kind of shake it off and I walk through the doorway.
You're enveloped by a beam light of sun just cascading down like a curtain of gold, and you're gone.
Yara is going to gently walk through, just simply, confidently.
Okay. You step on through. Holly.
I'm gonna look up at the Baron.
Mm-hmm.
Can I swim there?
He smiles and says, the oceans that you will find in the dreaming will feel more like home than the oceans here in the autumn world.
Well, yes, but I mean, on the land side.
Honestly, Holly. And he leans down and says, I don't know. You're the first merfolk I've ever met. It's a big deal that you're here. The Kithane of the Kingdom of Pacifica have not come in contact with a merfolk in hundreds of years. This is new to me too. I'm not sure of what it'll be like for you when you get to the other side. I do know that your chair will follow you, though, and that it might take on a different countenance, perhaps a countenance that you've perceived your chair to have always been. Maybe it'll form a new expression. I can sense the glamour upon it, so I know it's a treasure. I think it'll depend on you.
May I respectfully insight check a Baron? Because there is a thing that he said that doesn't quite add up to some other implications of things that he said.
Sure.
Let's see, what's that? Wit's empathy?
It's Wit's empathy versus his manipulation subterfuge.
Okay. Ugh, I should have gone for explosions. It's only 4.
He thinks he's telling the truth. He seems sincere.
That I'm the first merfolk he's ever met?
Mm-hmm.
Slick.
Maybe he doesn't know what you know. Or maybe he doesn't know that you know what he knows. But he is fully committed, and he is coming off quite genuine and sincere. You do know that he has in the past, and Sam, I'm going to go ahead and just bookmark this now, but I threw that in there very subtly and you caught it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you 1 XP right now.
Thank you.
Because it kind of doesn't fit. It's like somebody like casually tossing coins into a jar, and it's a really neat trick. And they keep tossing it, even though you think you just heard one miss, but he just keeps going like a sleight of hand trick and plays it off, and no one else notices, but you noticed. Something he said just now wasn't right.
Thank you, my lord.
He nods.
And I'll grab either side of the doorway and push through.
Okay. You push on through, going through that curtain of gold. As you push through, you see now what everyone else has seen the moment they went through that door. The world that you knew is completely gone. What you see is a landscape that looks very similar to the landscape that you just saw. The same hills, the same view, the same ocean, but everything is quite different. There's tall, rich emerald green grass that is currently flowing like the waves in a stiff wind as it's rushing through the air. The seagulls overhead have multicolored feathers, and they're elongated, making them almost look like phoenixes with seagull beaks as they're just flying through the sunlit sky. Not a cloud in the sky that you can tell. You can see your heart kind of catches for a minute anybody's seeing it, but off in the distance through one of the rolling hills, which you would normally see as like sort of the spotted mottled California sloping country like hillside that is both mottled with dark grays and browns from the unfortunate droughts that hit us to the occasional blotches of green from the healthy trees. Instead, what you see are rolling hills with all this rich green grass. It looks like a Windows background. It's just beautiful crystal blue skies. But on one of these rolling hills, for a split second, you see a herd of wild horses just cresting one of the hilltops. They're gone in just a few moments, but you're not sure. Each one of you may have seen horns on these creatures as they were cresting one of the hilltops, a whole herd of them as they were breaching over one of the hills and disappearing into what looks like a large forest. This place is completely different. And what's more, each one of you, your mortal seeming, does now what your fey seeming does in the real world. It takes a step back. There is no trace of your mortal seeming the moment you all walk into this world. Immediately, you can see Aisling looks like a marionette puppet with almost like this porcelain colored, like bleached skin, sunken eyes, the dark, pretty much the character art. Just point to the character art. You see it all come vibrantly to life. The roses that are now like cresting across the bodice all are thriving and living. The stems are black and green. They look like they've been dipped in blood, but they don't look menacing in any way. They look more like somebody painted something. In fact, no, yes, the petals look like they are made out of paints. Like somebody has taken thick paints and literally drawn them out and crafted these roses across the top part of her clothing. Ruby, your fox ears are now these big tufts of fox ears. Your vibrant red hair are now shocks of red hair that go all across you. Whiskers are now arching off the front of your nose with a little black spot on the very tip. Everything about you is twice as pronounced. Your eyes are this brilliant, bright yellowed color, just like a fox's eyes. Geta, your eyes glow like emeralds being shone from behind. The Chlorocon's eyes look like they are just these vibrant spotlights of green gazing out from underneath. The sharp points of her ears just reach up and they're a little more pronounced. You can see this sort of elfish quality to her, but also like your knuckles, your muscles, Geta, everything becomes a little more pronounced. You kind of looking at yourself, your dress, your shoes, the polka dots, everything just kind of pops now suddenly. It looks like it's part of, you just look like you belong here the moment you step in. Skeeta, your hair takes on an almost glittering like quality. Like there's little nightlight, like lightning bugs are flickering in and out of existence deep within this hair, just kind of cascading down your shoulders. Your dress just looks like leaves and gossamer just folded together. Tinkerbell would be incredibly jealous of you right now. The way this thing just kind of flows down to about your knees. Your shoes completely disappear, letting you feel like your bare feet in this cool, fresh grass that sways back and forth just underneath your knees. Everything around you just seems to respond to you, and everything around you seems like it's worth taking. Nicely done, Bonnie. And Holly is probably the most striking thing you all see, because you can see Holly in their merfolk form in the autumn world. But here, Holly looks like a creature of a bygone age, a dream that this world used to once enjoy, a dream that old sailors would fall asleep whispering to themselves about at night, swearing that they saw this angelic being swimming through the waves. Holly's skin shines with this beautiful, deep colors of blues, purples, and greens. It's not scales. It doesn't come off like scales, but rather it just looks like this slick coloration of like shining skin that covers their entire body. This lush fins that kind of arch off the back, a couple of fins, the gills that spread out across the back of their face. All of a sudden, they just look like this is where your appearance 6 cannot be hidden by subtleties. Holly looks like an angelic merfolk of legend sitting in the chair, which I would let Holly describe. I would love to know what you think. I know, but literally the sky is the limit. Your imagination is untethered here. It could be anything. What does the treasure look like, Holly? What does it manifest here? Is it made of pure water? Is it made of the fog that rolls in from the bay in the early morning hours? Or is it made of gold? What does it look like?
It's shells interlocked with shells interlocked with shells, that pearlescent, iridescent look. The seat of it is the opening. The back is the swoop of the spiral, and the wheels are smaller shells turning and turning and turning, as since we're on land, water from somewhere pours into the shell, causing the wheel shell to flip
like a waterfall
and to turn like a little waterfall. And so the water itself powers the chair.
It even sounds of like a trickling waterfall from a fountain as Holly rolls up to all of you through the grass. And Holly, the grass seems to part for you as you move into the center of your friend the Motley's. You're all looking around. I want everyone to immediately gain a point of glamour. The moment you enter the dreaming.
I tried to make my fox ears, but it's all fallen apart.
Yeah. That looks pretty right to me.
You're already foxy.
Oh.
The last bit of description I'll give to all of you is a bit of like sort of actor's direction, because what your characters experience, for those of you who are going into the dreaming for the first time, it almost breaks your heart. This is the dreams. This is the culmination of the world of dreams for all humankind and Fae. This is where your kind are from. And this is the world that has been separated from the autumn world. This is the world that humans have forgotten about, that they don't know that they influence. All of you see this, and the joy that comes immediately surging into each and every one of you. It almost invokes a sense of melancholy, because this has always been here, and this is your birthright, and this is impermanent.
I'll say, since all of you arrived behind Aisling, I think her back has been to you, and she's looking out at this beautiful scene, and when she turns to you to sort of realize that you've all arrived behind her, you see that she's been silently sobbing, and you see the third eye next to hers in equal measure, as like the rim of her is wider than what she is. And as she turns and then is very still with a smile, but it's like a happy sob, the melancholy sob. She's smiling, but she's sobbing. And all three eyes are crying. And as she doesn't say anything, she just stands there. And now that she's facing you, the sun is hitting, and you see that despite her being still, her shadow that is attached to where the sun would be hitting, her shadow on the ground is squirming. So her shadow is still moving even if she's still.
I'm going to add to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Reaching up out of that shadow, you see the hand emerge, almost like a rising from the grave situation, where it kind of breaks through for a second and then very calmly places itself down, and then another as it begins to pull itself up. What you all see is a little alarming, because the shadowy creature, that thing that you see in the autumn world, Aisling, this sort of swirling cloud of malevolence with that baleful green eye. Here,
Yellow.
what you see, yellow eye. What you see is a humanoid figure stand, very thin, with what looks like a very well-defined upper musculature of some kind. Long limbs, broad shoulders, reaching a height of close to 8 feet, as it just stands up like a nightmare given form. And again, you see this sort of elongated humanoid face, but there's only one eye that seems to sit back underneath a black nebulous cloud that shifts and is constantly swirling, like somebody contained black fog in sort of like an imaginary piece of glass, and it's constantly swirling against the surface. And this creature stands and moves around to the front as everyone's watching. And in the same motion as all of this is happening, one long finger reaches down very slowly and takes one of your tears in its finger, and gently wipes one away. And yet still, this moment of tenderness from this strange shadow creature that has been following you, Aisling, the eye still looks like it simmers with rage. And yet, again, with the finger, takes the other side of your face, and you see that black smudge of shadow across Aisling's face that's part of Aisling get kind of pushed as it moves yet another tear out of the way, behaving empathetically, sympathetically, but you can still feel this cold anger. And it withdraws its hand for a moment.
Thank you. Everyone? Shadow. This is everyone. This is our Motley.
It doesn't take its eyes off you. It doesn't even acknowledge anybody else. It just gazes down at you. Do you have remembrance, Aisling?
2.
I would like you to make an intelligence remembrance roll as you stare back at the shadow.
Okay. What would be it?
Difficulty is going to be 6.
Okay, I got no successes this time.
You stare back at him blankly, and you see the shadow's anger seems to boil suddenly. You see the eye, just kind of that one eye, you see the brow lower.
Okay.
And the pupil seems to dilate. And there's this, all of you, it's not just localized to Aisling anymore. You're in the near dreaming now. So you see the shadow begin to billow out from underneath its feet. And each and every one of you becomes aware of this cold rage that is emanating from this creature.
Aisling steps closer to it, and the shadow shrinks because they're still attached to me. And Aisling quickly mimics what the shadow did for me. And since I had said all 3 eyes were crying, Aisling goes and wipes the shadow's tear as well. And I want to spend a story point to ease this moment.
Thank you, Laura, for the story point.
Thank you, Gina DeViva.
Your finger, as you touch the face, you're all watching as the darkness begins to spread up to the mid knuckle of your fingers. You're touching this. So almost like it's bleeding onto you for a moment. And the eye, you can see the rage again. This rage where it feels like at any moment this creature could act that sort of anxiety-inducing moment where there's uncertainty, where anything could happen, where there's unpredictability. Is it going to hurt someone? And what would that be here? You were given the warning by the Baron that chimerical damage is a very big deal here. It's real. This thing can hurt you here, hurt all of you. And you feel that as you touch the face and as you trace it down, you instantly feel, having spent that story point and doing this, you feel that rage turn into that sort of, that rage that overcomes you when you succumb to pain as opposed to anger. It's a vulnerability, the kind where people go from wanting to scream to just wanting to cry. So the expression doesn't change at all, but more tears seem to flow. And this inky darkness begins to bleed into the shoulder, the collarbone area, and down the front of the chest, almost making it look like a rain cloud does when heavy rains are pouring out of the bottom, and it just seems like the clouds are being smeared across the sky. And after a moment, it lowers its head, and just, you all watch as it steps back into Aisling, just...
As it starts moving, I kind of do a sort of hugging gesture to like ease it back.
It wraps its arms around you and folds back in and slides into your body and just... And you all watch that sort of dark circles around Aisling's eye. As it seeps back in, they grow deeper and darker and elongate across her face. The shadows that are always present with her top hat on, no matter what she's in, you see them grow darker and spread like you normally see them across the top of her face. Each of you getting an idea suddenly that the shadows that are constantly enveloping Aisling, that are just mysteriously there, aren't just part of her Sluagh nature. It's this thing that's a part of her, living on her as they just swoops back in.
So I guess we should go to school, or something. Y'all look great. All of you look. As I'm
Yara.
like trying not to make eye contact with Aisling, like everyone looks great. This is cool. Am I right? Whoa, colors.
Yara is going to just kind of slowly approach Aisling and with fearlessly just slowly approach. And as she gets closer, her glowing emerald eyes, she has a steadfast face, but you could see her eyes are brimming with tears. And she gently places a hand upon her shoulder, and her face cracks into a little smile. And as it does, some tears fall down. She just says simply, "It's very nice to meet your shadow. We're all here together. We're not going to get lost."
And Aisling just responds by putting her hand on your hand that's on her shoulder, and the shadows in between her fingers, you feel a second set of hands lace through your fingers as well. And then they retract.
Well, I think this shadow's properly sewn to me, so I think we can walk.
Sounds good. Well,
the Baron wasn't kidding. You know, we're used to just driving and going places that are 7 miles away is no big deal. But now you're footing it. And 7 miles away on this countryside, you're beginning to realize this is a day trip. And Adrian is like, well, I ain't having any of that. I'm out of here.
Been very clear about not wanting to go to the school.
Yeah, exactly. Adrian is very method when it comes to going back to school.
Did I disappear again?
I'm piecing out. Yeah.
I saw everyone else disappear, and it was just me. I was like, all
Wow,
right.
great magic trick.
No,
again, as you begin to move into the general direction that you know the school is in, you see the the countryside of the dreaming stretched out before you, rolling hills, forests that look like they're filled with fireflies. Even though it's the middle of the afternoon, you can see the like blinking gold blinking lights just echoing into the darkness, or they might be will-o-wisps, considering
Pipsqueak showed up too.
it's another shadow.
Aww.
Yeah, Pipsqueak showed up.
Yeah. This is how we get easy viewership, is we just
Sorry,
every now
y'all,
and then
he
we're just
was,
like, we need a numbers bump.
trying to
Let's
climb
get
up
Kitty
into
in
my
here.
lap. Yeah. Shit.
Well, extreme Pipsqueak.
And now
Mhm.
we're in, this is mounted combat in Changeling the Dreaming, everyone.
No, Yappa spends a lot of time on my back. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you all move through this countryside, the sights that greet all of you are extraordinary. Those seagulls that looked like phoenixes that were flying overhead, they actually might be phoenixes. The more and more you look at them, the more you see the long, brilliant, flaming orange tails that arc out from the back of them and the brilliant feathers. It's possible. It's also possible that the shapes you're seeing moving in the clouds, the ones that you imagine as a child when you're staring up, they actually might be shapes. You might actually be seeing what looks like two dinosaurs having a conversation in the clouds. It's difficult to say, but you're pretty sure everything is alive here. The sky is a deep crystal blue. And aside from the strange sights that you see in the sky, you are no stranger to some of the things that you are seeing around you. Also seem as a bit fantastical. No kidding. At one point, as y'all are moving through the grasses, you're descending along one of the sloping hills as the wind picks up. And as you do, about actually, let's make a perception alertness roll. Everyone make a perception alertness roll. And the difficulty of this is actually going to be a little tricky. It's going to be 7.
What was it? Perception, alertness?
Perception plus alertness. You need a 7 or better.
Cool. Let me roll my
Right
one
there
die.
with you. Don't worry.
Yep.
Say the.
It's perception. It's perception plus alertness. Difficulty 7.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, Pipsqueak was climbing on my back because he was also startled by everything that's happening.
Well, yeah,
and
your chimerical creatures are pretty vibrant here as well. They are fully formed here.
Yep.
That explains Holly too. Then that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Well, good news is that I'm focused completely on Pipsqueak, so he feels loved and attended to. But that's about it. That's all I'm perceiving.
Who got 1 success?
None over here.
4. That's right, because this is what Aisling does. How'd you do, Gita?
Out of 6, I got 0 successes.
All right, so nobody sees it but you, Aisling. And it makes sense considering the fact that this creature is maybe a foot tall. Maybe. Walking in the high grass. You see something moving towards all of you. Just kind of flopping back and forth. It's pretty close too when you spot it. It looks like it's maybe 15 feet away.
Someone's here. And points.
And when you say that, you hear a voice go, hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hold on. A few moments later, the grass gets pushed aside. Standing in what looks like a billowy sort of like Renaissance artisan shirt with a sort of like a beret slapped to the side, wearing leather breeches and a rapier at his side. You see a weasel that has what looks like a small pack slung over its shoulder. And it pushes a blade of grass aside and looks up at all of you and goes, "Oh, you thought I thought I would have heard you all coming. You're so big."
Aisling lays down flat on her tummy so that her eyes are closer to where he is.
"Ah, my lady." And he dips low and says, "It's a pleasure to meet you."
Good evening, kind sir. I very much enjoy your sword.
Oh, thank you. I made it myself.
What?
It's true. It's
Well,
true.
If you would be so kind, we are currently looking for a pathway to a school. You wouldn't happen to know of any, would you?
A school? Let me think. What kind of school exactly?
Mm,
Not fish.
Not fish.
Not fish.
Ah, well, I
But
did
a
know the
Finnish
direction to the not
thing.
fish school. I'm sorry?
Not a fish school, a finishing school.
Wait, so
They
you
teach-
don't want the not a fish school?
No, that's the one we want. The not a fish.
Yes,
You,
that's
you
the
do
one.
want the
No.
not a fish school?
Yes.
Well, it's quite a ways from here, unfortunately.
Even the cook
My
is
youngest
confused.
went to not a fish school. It took them some time to finally come to terms with the fact that they were not, in fact, a fish, but they passed with flying colors once they realized they had wings. Did you know that fish actually grow wings? Part of the confusion, I say. They don't tell you that in fish school. They only tell you that in not a fish school. Seems odd, doesn't
What?
it?
Many different schools have different curriculums. I think it's very odd. They should really be taught universal education, but that's so which direction? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, let's see here. Well, there's many a place around the area. I think there's. Let's see. There's. Do you want all the schools, or just not a fish school?
I look up at the group.
We should maybe describe the location we're looking for in more detail. Because in all honesty, we could just head to my school, and that would be answering the question correctly too.
Ooh. Is there an age limit for your school, Kiera?
Really?
It's high school graduates. It's people going into college, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, but right.
Young adults and
Yeah, it is a school for young adults that are being taught etiquette.
Well, that sounds terribly boring. I'm afraid I don't know any
Yes,
school like that.
I guess that. Oh no, you.
No, I'm sorry. It's
What
just-
about? I'm trying to remember what the building looked like. Have you seen a large fortress-like building with a lot
Oh
of
yes. Many of those.
activity happening, per se, possibly surrounded by a forest that recently burned. Well, I guess
Oh,
it wouldn't have
yes.
burned here.
Have any of the locations been on fire recently?
Fire? No.
Oh.
No, fire's been quite content lately. I haven't seen, but there is a haunted manor that is not too far from here, just on the other side of the woods. There, you can see from not too far.
That sounds like
I'm
what
sorry,
we're
I-
looking for.
I don't know if I'm
Haunted
pointing the right. I'm so sorry. Could I crawl up on your head? Would
Yeah.
that be all right? Thank you. I don't do this often, you know.
I
It's,
sort of I
kind of-
take my top hat off and like
Okay.
set it down for them to scurry onto.
Steps up. Scurry's just long body just kind of bounces up like a ferret and stands up and says, "Thank you."
And
He
then
goes,
I
yes.
hold it up all the way.
He says, that way. Yes, indeed. The forest you see over there. I should warn you, no one really likes to go into that forest.
Why not?
Well, in the past few years, it's begun to change somewhat. It's been taking on a new countenance, really. It's become something of a place of
Spooky?
not good. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Spooky.
is it a place with a penchant for producing banality? Perhaps.
Oh, God. You see genuine fear come to his face, and he goes, No, gods, no, nothing like that here. By the dreaming, no. If we were to feel the icy knife of banality, I've heard stories. I've never felt it myself, thankfully.
Then how could it be the school?
Well, maybe the school is simply haunted and not. We didn't sense any banality while we were there. Just something magically off.
You're right.
It did feel like a haunted house while we were there.
You're not planning on going there, are you?
Oh, yes.
Oh dear. Well, I should memorize your face then, in case you're killed.
That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Ruby poses.
Yeah, we all
thank you.
pose.
Very good. Very good. He stops and looks at you, Gita, and goes, it is such a lovely dress, I must say. My wife would absolutely love that dress.
Is that so?
Mm.
Is that a request or a compliment?
Oh. Have I said something wrong?
No, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Of course.
Sorry.
Well, the good news is that if we don't return and we do die, if you find our remains, feel free to take the dress for your wife. I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
No, it's quite all right. You couldn't bribe me to ever enter that forest. But I do wish you all the best of luck, especially you. Waves at you, Holly. It's not often we see the merfolk moving through the hills out here.
You know, have to find out what they're learning at not a fish school.
Oh,
I
yes,
lean in
perhaps
a
you
little
could set them
closer.
right.
Wings? Really?
Yes, it's true. At not a fish school, they teach wings, but at fish school, they teach not wings. I'm not
They
sure
never
why
taught
that
me
is.
wings.
What do you mean? Surely you're aware there are flying fish. You know this, yes?
Pigs too.
I just subconsciously look to Gita real quick.
She looks back at them like,
By the dreaming, what are they teaching you at fish school? Why, it's appalling.
Huh? Tall tales. I flap mine.
Oh! I got that! Did you hear them? They said tall tales, and they have a long tail. Did you get that? oh! Let me check my pulse for a moment. Lots of cholesterol these days, you know. All right, I should be under my way.
I set him back down on the ground.
He sits down and says, I wish you all a very safe journey. Whatever madness is taking you into that dark forest, I hope you are relieved of it soon enough, and preferably not through death. Good day.
What was your name?
Oh, Milik. So sorry. Milik, of course. I didn't catch any of your names. It would help to put the name to the face.
Oh, yes, for identifying the bodies.
Or paying tribute, as I have no intention of going into the forest.
Oh, right.
Nice. Yes.
Ashling.
But I'm quite the artisan. Ashling, and the rest of you?
Giara for me.
Giara. Yes, and you? The one who asked my name?
Oh, I am Skeeta.
Skeeta. A Pisky, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
I should check my belongings. Kidding, of course. But should I check my belongings? Seems to all be there. I think. I don't mean to be rude. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Did he ask our names as a direct question? I can't remember.
He said, "May I have your names?" To put a name to the face.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull my bag.
You can give your name.
I'm like, Stacy.
Right. You can say, "My name is not Ruby."
Yeah, I'll do that. My name is not Ruby.
All right, not Ruby. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm Halimid Leomaris.
Hello, Halimid.
Looking at Ruby, I'm distraught by this revelation.
Well, with that, he says, I don't want to take up any more of your time. You have either heroics or dying to do, and that is a lot of work. So I wish you all the absolute best. If you're all coming back through this way again, do wait around for me. I walk these hills quite often, you know. This is where I work.
What do you do for work?
Whatever suits me that day. Yesterday I made a sword. It's quite lovely, isn't it? Tomorrow I think I'll be a painter. Do I get dental? I've never heard of. I've never met them. Are they someone I should get?
No, dental just owes me money. I was just curious if they've been walking around here too. It's fine.
Well, I'll make sure Dental finds out about it, not Ruby, and I'll make sure that Dental knows very well that your body has the money that is owed to them.
I look forward to seeing your painting tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yes, I'll wait out here for you. I think you'll like it. You're in for a treat.
Yes.
Well, good day. Good day.
Good day.
Good day. Good day. Good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Carry on.
Excuse me, he says with irritation as he steps around Pipsqueak, who's getting in his face right now, just going, and he's like, excuse me, please.
He doesn't get to smell weasels too often.
Someone could have told me there was a cat nearby. My God. And moves by. Meanwhile, the sea otter just watches him go by and he just goes, oh, good day. As he walks up.
Cousins, basically.
Yes. Yes. And with that, Milik disappears into the tall grass. You just see him vanish. Each one of you facing back towards the forest, you see the direction you are now been charged to go. And indeed, Milik was not kidding. The forest that looked enchanting from far away with little fireflies like dancing between the dark tree limbs now seems to be quite menacing and dark. It looks like a typical spooky forest right out of any childhood nightmare dreams. And I leave it to you all to decide if that fills you with anxiety or excitement.
That one.
In the distance, you think you might see, just like out of an 80s painting, you think you might see what appears to be a haunted manor where perhaps the school might be located in the faded distance behind the haze of sunlight, shrouded in what looks like a fog around its base. And just to drive the point home, a bolt of lightning striking in the dark background where the clouds have gathered over it, like out of a Disney cartoon.
Well, that wasn't ominous at all. Let's go.
I think it's waving at us.
As it's like on the hill.
And as
Ashling's
you all
psyched.
depart,
Aisling runs.
Aisling, who is like skipping through the grass, happiest you've ever seen the Sluagh. And that is where we are going to leave the Barony of Olives tonight. In the near dreaming, headed towards a haunted forest. GG, y'all.
Woo.
Yes. Nothing about that is ominous.
Yeah. Again, Sam, good catch. I have been kind of sprinkling things from here and there, and you nabbed that one. So nicely done.
All right. Challenge accepted. Doing a re-listen now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and just dole out some XP real fast before we head out for the night. Man, there were so many good moments. So everyone gains an automatic XP automatically, as you automatically know. Next up is I would love to hear moments that you felt like your characters had a learning moment. If there was a moment tonight where your character either learned something new, or that you thought was really interesting or really cool, or that you learned about yourself, or is it about the world? Yeah, Sam.
Her name isn't Ruby.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I look forward to the day that you discover all of the character traits of Land Fae.
My God. What have I been on about this whole time?
No, of course not. Ruby told me that Puka were always honest. They must be.
I never lie. Ever.
But she has to hide her name being Ruby because she's a secret agent, international super spy.
Oh boy. The
We're
lie is
supposed to
growing
know
bigger and
that
bigger.
one.
Shh. You know I'm gonna
Anybody
keep-
else?
Giara, she learned a lot about Aisling. Didn't realize that Aisling had this like monster within her
Thing.
that like she just never realized, and has never seen her so afraid of herself and just unsure and scared and so and powerful. So she just learned a lot about.
That's right.
She's just like, wow, I've never seen this shadow creature before, but
Yeah.
respect.
Because you weren't at the school. That's right.
No.
It's also worth noting that you can select things that you learned about playing your character tonight. For example, it's totally valid too, Lisa, if you were to like, I learned that my house is 50 yards away from the beach and it looks like so and so. Like anything is on the table here.
I'll say that the more I play Ruby, the more I'm feeling that, you know, she is a very confident person and however, whenever there is something that makes her second guess or be uncomfortable, like for example, finally seeing that the shadow with Ainsling and also, you know, with the forest and, you know, the little weasel saying us, oh, y'all are going to die type of thing. She uses humor and lies as a defense mechanism a lot.
Right.
If y'all aren't getting that, like, it's like how it's also her breaking the ice, but at the same time, it's the only thing she knows how to do is
self-defense.
It's a self-defense mechanism for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the more I play her, the more I'm using that aspect of the puka.
Right. Right on. Okay. All right. That's good. All right. Then next I'm going to ask each of you, I'd love for you all to pick, everybody gain an XP from that one. I would love to hear each of you gets to hand out an XP.
Sam learn?
What?
Ruby.
Their name is
that's
Ruby.
Right. Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to say mine. I'll say mine very quickly.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting such tenderness from my shadow.
That was a beautiful moment.
I know that I, as a player, have an idea of what their shadow means to them, but I don't think while I was playing Aisling how quickly she would realize that there was more emotion to her shadow. So that was pretty cool. And I think obviously being in the learning that the near dreaming is very revealing. And first time being in it has probably the most unified that they've ever felt.
Yeah.
Since their shadow was literally manifesting from the way Aisling moved, as opposed to separate.
Yeah.
And I'll see what I learned. Yeah, definitely the shadow stuff was new to Skeeta, for all of us, I guess, to see that the shadow manifests that way in the dreaming. Learned another little clue about who maybe I was in my past. Tiny little clue. Just piecing it all slowly together.
All right. So I'd love for y'all to throw out an XP to people that you thought had really great role-playing moments tonight.
I want to give one to Eliza for coming down with a gong and doing that big 20 minutes.
That was great.
I was like, what is that? And then 10 minutes remain. I was like, okay.
Oh, I totally forgot to say thank you, 10 and all
that.
Yes. Oh my God. That's what that
awesome. Can I just say too
right.
that there is? Can I just say to expand upon that, for Eliza, before we went live tonight, a lot of us are just like so many people out there. Things have been rough. So it's sometimes you come into RPGs and you don't know what to expect for the night, if the energy is low or how it is shifting and whatnot. But the moment we started playing together tonight, the moment where I said, and here's the imaginary world and go, like the moment you started doing that, Eliza, I was like, oh my God. I had no idea how much I missed all of you and how much I missed running this game, missing it last week, our little corner, our little show in the middle of the internet in the sea of like everything. Like these little game nights are just really important. And I just realized that energy shift immediately when you started doing that, Eliza. I was like, thank you. It was so nice.
To hear that. Thank you.
Thank you for the glamour, Eliza.
Thank you.
Thank you for staving off the banality. Yeah. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah. I mean, I want to give one to Gina for the shadow soothing moment.
Yeah.
That was very sweet.
Thank you.
Always the
Yeah.
best like use of your like experience or story, but your meta currency, Gina, because it reminds me so much of when Luma had kind.
It's my favorite fucking thing. Oh my god.
And so when
Love that
at Twink
mechanic.
Night,
Mhm,
I could
mhm.
I couldn't help but think of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. I'm gonna bounce that straight back to Sam as well, specifically for catching the thing. Like the compliment is for your character, but also for the way that you just RP in general. You were so attentive to detail for RPing moments, and it is so like I'll speak for myself. When you were like, that seems no, it was like, wait, what did I miss? Wait, what's happened? Wait, what? And it
I was scrolling through my notes. I'm like, what did I miss there?
And yeah, so those are always such a treasured moment when you get to be like, oh, someone caught a treasure, like literally like something that a GM clearly has put a lot of work into. It's always really nice when you get to watch someone catch one and just be like, oh, what a gift it happened. Because then it always reminds me to be paying attention for those sorts of things, because they're all over the place.
Especially when Eric's running a game.
I know, right?
I want to take a second to toss one out to our Gira. Because Adriana had a moment where out of nowhere you just stepped up, and the way you interacted with Aisling in that moment, like it seemed.
She looked so scared.
Did I steal yours?
Oh, what's everyone gonna think of? And then like I was like,
yeah,
she's a part of us. Like you are one of us.
It's just like, hi.
Was that yours too, Sam?
I was just about to transition from. I had the whole thing planned.
I want to hear you. Tell me your thoughts on it too, because I've got another one. So you take this one.
Well, I mean, I think it is so often easier at a table to like have or execute your ideas and like the things you do with your character. That's what comes naturally to us. Pursue the things that our character is interested in. And to me, the higher good is the insight and the generosity to get your character into a position to support another person having that moment, so that like it elevates that moment. And that's what like Gira was for me in that scene, in that moment, of someone who like, it's one thing to spot a plot point and like, yo, I love making Eric feel like the details he's giving us are worthwhile, but like it's a whole nother thing to spot, hey, there's something I can do as a player with my character to support the other people at the table and like elevate this moment. And it was not only like good player move, but it was in a very Gira way, despite never having seen that kind of vibe from Gira. Like, she's a fighty lass, and yet it is completely consistent what that protective tenderness would look like. So it is beautiful as a player, and it was really cool to see more about the character. That was what I was gonna say.
May I add one thing to that? Because you articulated that so beautifully, Sam. I do want to add to that too as well. I also, that was a beautiful moment, and I also like immediately the imagery of it is that the shadow, literally the shadow introduced themselves to you in the bathroom earlier. So it feeling connected to you was so perfect. This game gets my heart. Oh.
The other one that I wanted to give a shout out to is just I fucking love riffing with you, Bonnie. Like every time we riff, every time we go into like an animal chewing on your hair and like
Oh.
and watching you navigate. Like when I decided to run this game and you got excited about playing the puka, I was like, this is the greatest thing since Lark Sage. This is like, this is literally like,
I miss her.
this is gonna be perfect. Because watching you navigate the language of playing a puka is just genius and works. I just
My
gotta
brain
tip my hat.
hurts after every game. I'm like, I feel like I've lied so much to everyone I care about.
What have you
There was
done?
so much good physical comedy this episode.
Yeah.
Though, like between Ashling, like I'm going to be in the cramped place, and just
Oh, yeah.
everything that Ruby and Pipsqueak exist together.
Yeah.
I honestly
beautifully
feel like I'm sure I have a bald spot somewhere in my hair. I feel like I just have really thick hair. I must just be really blessed with just wild thick hair that just like I cut chunks out of every week.
Go ahead and gain another XP for all the role playing that was done tonight. We're gonna hold off. Oh yeah. So gain that. Did you have another one, Adriana?
Give one to Sam because they described the chair. That was so
Yes!
like,
Yeah.
it was
Yes.
so vivid, and I can see
Chat,
like
chat
it was
went
like
off on that too.
in my mind, like the
Mhm.
shell and like the curve, and I could picture it exactly. It was just
Yeah.
ethereal, and I thought that was
We need
beautiful.
fan art. That's what I demand fan art
It
of.
was
Hey,
so
when y'all get a
important to me,
chance-
but it was so on the spot, and I didn't know. I was like terrified.
You did a great job.
Words, and I hope
Fantastic.
that she's I hope you're happy. So
If y'all get a chance, by the way, StreamPunks, if y'all get a chance, whenever you have free time, a moment to breathe, just kind of like anonymously, if you like, but go onto the Discord sometime to the Fanworks channel. I think your mind would explode when you see what the family has been up to and what they've been doing. It's pretty incredible. There's multiple pieces of art of small little mice inside of giant suits of armor.
Oh my God.
It's pretty amazing. I cannot stress it enough. The fan works that our community creates, we see them, and I just adore it. So that's actually going to bring a wrap up to our game tonight, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us for the Barony of Olives. The next time we see you is going to be on Saturday, when we are trying to tap that dreaming and get some glamour going for the StreamPunks. We are going to be trying to raise funds, and this is to help us launch a website and raise money for productions for the coming year. Eliza and I alone, and Bonnie, have been talking about things that we really, really want to do show-wise for the coming year. And hopefully we'll be able to share some of that with you soon. And this fundraiser is going to help us put it all together. So please join us on Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you will see stuff come up on socials. That's going to do it for us, though, tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here in this world of darkness in the Barony of Olives. We will see you on Saturday. But until then, sweet dreams.